What are you doing to that? You're on camera, wee man. I've got him.
Fucking disgrace! Fuck up, you fucking wanks!
Get a fucking stereos for a 15-year-old boy! Get up! A 15-year-old fucking boy! Fucking animals! Fucking animals, every one of you!
Against the ball! Against the ball!
Look at you, 6 of you, you're a 15-year-old boy!
Get back! Get back! Get back! Move back now! Move! Get back!
Excuse me?
This afternoon, Celtic immediately on the attack. Stokes through to Commons, it's a chance. First 2 minutes, it's a goal! Unbelievable! 12 seconds gone! That must be one of the quickest goals of the season. It's certainly one of the quickest goals I think I've ever seen here at Celtic Park. I don't think Aberdeen touched the ball. Jamie Langfield is shell-shocked. Chris Commons, after 12 seconds, the ball played forward, knocked on by Gary Hooper, controlled by Anthony Stokes. He lays it off to Chris Commons. He takes a touch, he fires it into the back of the net. There'll still be Celtic fans trying to come into the ground. I have to say Kenny Mackay's missed the goal because he's still on his way down here, but Chris Commons with a remarkable start. I'm not even sure if Neil Lennon has come out from the tunnel as the ball's knocked back into the danger area. Kelvin Wilson brought down. Josh McGuinness plays it back to Vernon, and this time Vernon does score. It's Aberdeen on the attack now over the halfway line. McGuinness makes a run, he's on the edge of the box, a chance for a left foot shot. It takes a deflection, it goes beyond Fraser Foster and Josh McGuinness, who was the provider at the end of the first half, and with 7 minutes of the second half gone, the Irishman's given Aberdeen a shock lead here. It's 2-1 to the visitors at Celtic Park. But here's another corner for them. Aberdeen's fifth corner of the game, their first of the second half. It's Johnny Hayes again. Brings it looking for Shaughnessy. It's a shot. It's flicked. It's in the back of the net. Well, there must be. It looks as if Gavin Ray might have been offside. But it's a shot from the edge of the box. It goes beyond Fraser Foster, and unbelievably, with an hour gone here, it's Celtic 1, Aberdeen 3. 2-goal lead. It's a packed penalty area. Commons with the in-swinger, looking for a Celtic head. The ball breaks. It's Ambrose. Swipes at it. Charlie Mulgrew right-footed. It's in the back of the net. Takes a deflection up over Jamie Langfield. 23 minutes of the second half gone. It's now Celtic 2, Aberdeen 3, and it's Charlie Mulgrew against his old side. He's out of his stride before he can get a shot away. Celtic's fourth corner of the second half. It's Chris Commons again in the 6-yard box. It's headed down. It's headed off the line. It's a goal. Celtic have scored an equaliser. It looked as if it was Gary Hooper. It was a header from Efe Ambrose, and Gary Hooper pounced. He's got the ball in his hands. It's back in the centre circle. Celtic with 4 minutes to go. They can still get the winner, Kenny.
Come on, Celtic. That was absolutely amazing.
In the dying seconds here, Aberdeen with the ball. Is Chris Commons going to try and shoot? Is he going to curl it into the busy penalty area? Celtic Park expects. Chris Commons stands over the ball, curls it into the box. A chance. George Samaras heads it back. It's a ball. It's in the back of the net. And Celtic have scored. It's an overhead kick. And Celtic have scored. It's a wonder goal from the wonderful Greek striker George Samaras. And Celtic 4, Aberdeen 3. Unbelievable.
What a goal from Samaras. Unbelievable.
Hail, hail, and welcome to the HomeBhoys live phone-in show here on a Monday night at 7:30. Well, 25 to 8 tonight because we're having some issues. I was setting up that wee intro there, be nice and dramatic for us. Obviously, this weekend has been action-packed, so there's an awful lot to be getting on with. And as usual, you can send us Twitter. You Twitter us at HomeBhoys on Twitter. You can go on Facebook and follow us if you want, but it doesn't seem like anybody really does. Also, you can email us at homeboys@gmail.com. Plus, you can also Skype in, which is kind of, we're trying to encourage people more often now to Skype in. We get the feeling people are a little bit scared or intimidated, whereas we're just a bunch of monkeys talking rubbish. And we encourage more people to come in and join us. So you can Skype us on just search for HomeBhoys on Skype. If you don't know how to use Skype, just download Skype free on the internet. It'll open itself up. Search HomeBhoys, set up an account, search HomeBhoys, give us a call, and we'll let anybody on talk. That's what this show's about. It's by the fans, for the fans, and we're here to help, I suppose. So tonight, we've got loads to talk about. We're going to get straight on down to it. I'm joined, as usual, by the usual crew, the Green and White Raider, Mr. Paul Larkin.
Hello.
And as usual, Mr. Jason Higgins.
How you doing, mate?
The most connected man in Glasgow. Social octopus. Jason Higgins. So we're going to get straight down and talk about the incredible match on Saturday, which ended in a dramatic. I think it was called a wonder goal. I don't know if it was a wonder goal, but it was an amazing feeling. It was great fun. We only have really one person on the show who actually knows what it was like to be there, and we'll get down to that in a second. So, Paul, it's over to you. I heard someone saying on Twitter that was the best experience in the stands at like a home league match in a long time.
I wouldn't go that far, but it was good. I mean, it was something that's not happened in a long time. I mean, obviously we start the game well, 12.2 seconds, you're a goal up. Fantastic goal, and you're thinking, right, okay, let's build on this and all that kind of thing. But as has been our want this season, we kind of huffed and puffed and never really blew the house down. And then, of course, Aberdeen score a goal that would probably get you substituted in a pub game, and then score another 2 goals, which was probably get you dropped to a pub league, and we're 3-1 down. But of course, there's 33 minutes to go, and I think majority of people on the ground were thinking that we still had a good chance. And I didn't think there was any great heart or desire showed by Celtic, because I just think we had some of our better players. Remember, they are actually better players than Aberdeen. Aberdeen are hopeless. Commons was done really well. His crossing and his delivery and his touch and stuff like that. We were in about their box at the right place at the right time. We kind of laid siege a wee bit. There was good delivery in that as well. The fans reacted really well. You could sense once they smelt blood, that was it. We're kind of going to go for it, and we did. And of course, after scoring a goal with 12.2 seconds, we scored one with about 12 seconds left with Samaras, which was, I wouldn't quite say it was Pelly and escape to victory, but certainly it was good to warm the cockles of your heart, as we said off here, because it was absolutely freezing on Saturday. So it was good to get a nice comeback win, and as the manager said after, it was like the good old days, doing that. And I think it was a win we needed, because we've not been playing well in the last couple of weeks, and we didn't really like going to a 12-point gap, and that's probably clinched us the league in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
I think it was a get out of jail win for them, because I think when they were 3-1 down, I was standing there going, "This is bullshit." I mean, they got 3 defeats in the trot. I was kind of like, "Oh yeah, one of them was against Juventus, the other 2 were enough. 2 defeats you can handle, but 4 in a row." And I was like, "Oh no, this is not happening." And I was tweeting like Stokes was having a shocker, and I was getting agitated. But then I kind of calmed down at half time, and then I got more angry. And then towards the end, I was kind of like a bundle of emotions, going like, "I can't believe this is happening. It's fantastic." Jason, now you wouldn't know anything about that, obviously.
I could tell you about 5 of the goals, but not the last 2, because I left early. I should just tell lies and no admitted it, but culmination of a few things. My kids weren't there, my wee boy wasn't feeling too well. My daughter was staying at her pals, and I had to go and pick my niece up after the game and stuff like that. And I was sitting there and I was freezing, and I was like, I'm going to just leave. And I walked out at 3-2 down. And then missed the last 2 goals. Oh no! But the part of that, I'd have been absolutely delighted to be in the stadium, because the Aberdeen fans were giving it large, and good luck to them. They had no bad support with them, and they were singing their wee hearts out. For the first whistle, they go right behind their team. Even when we went 1-0 up, they were still singing away. And I thought, Celtic, what a goal! 12 seconds. Excellent ball for Stokes. Great finish for Commons, and you thought it'd be easy street. I turned around to the boy next to us and says, could it be another 9-0? And the next thing, they just, all the impetus went out of Celtic. They just sort of strolling about as if they owned the place, but they weren't put much effort in, and fair play to Aberdeen. Getting a 3-1 lead, and I'm slightly different, Paul. I thought the game was gone. I didn't see any way back for us, because we were playing terrible, but they never said die spirit of Celtic, and we just started piling the pressure on, and when it went 3-2, you could definitely see us coming back, that much so that I left. but no, delighted to get the win, and fair play to the players. You know, they never gave up to the final whistle. I thought his substitutions worked pretty well. I would have took Hooper off before Stokes. I thought Stokes was the better at the two of them, but he was doing a lot of running off the ball. He was sort of set up play, but Hooper's always liable to get you a goal. And when he brought Big Sammy on and Lassad, it was we went for it then. We went for the jugular, and the sort of team started getting it. And Celtic can steamroller teams. See, when we get into a sort of attacking theme at home, especially, and towards the end of the game when we're chasing it, we've seen it time and time again. Teams capitulating against us, and all credit to them. And I thought it was a wonder goal with Sammy. Sammy says that he doesn't celebrate goals. Well, so I sort of celebrated that one, didn't he? And I'm delighted to get the win. And pleased for Lenny, because as you say, Joe, a few bad results in the bounce, and it's good to get that under your belt. Because I think quite a lot is we're looking at this cup semi-final. You know, we're looking at that, and a lot is, I mean, we're not brimming with confidence, to be honest with you, and we know what our record's like at Hampden, and it's must win for me, this cup, you know, because I want a final day out in Glasgow in May in the sun, hopefully. And although it's a Sunday this year, it's not ideal, but I definitely want to be going to Hampden twice this season. So we need to keep the winning mentality up and hopefully clinch a double.
Did anybody think the first goal that Aberdeen scored was a free kick because of Kelvin Wilson getting fouled in the box, on the edge of the box?
I think it was a foul, but I think it just passed him off.
I wouldn't say it was. I think he just made an asset, basically, you know. And, but I was actually talking to somebody who was scouting for another SBL team after the game on Saturday, and he was like, first thing he said was, "Can't believe Celtic have got 6 goals in 2 league games, unheard of." But he said they then went on to say that it's just exactly what Jason said. If the attitude's right, Celtic are absolutely unstoppable in Scotland, and that was their fear, was that if you catch Celtic on a day where they're up for it, you won't get battered, because it is. I mean, the goals we're scoring at home now is incredible. You know, it's 4s and 5s and 6s kind of every game now. And you just kind of think that if you could, because my theory is, and I know, I mean, Ambrose has come in for a lot of criticism recently, and some of it's been justified, but what the scenario I would paint is, if Samaras still stays at Celtic till 2014 and Greece by some miracle get to the World Cup final, would there be any chance whatsoever we'd play him in a game 2 days after that World Cup final? None whatsoever. Yet Ambrose comes back in 2 days, boom, plays in a game, and he's not been the same player since. You know, so I think that's why the defence is shaky. I was delighted to see Big Lustig back as well. You know, just solidifies things just a wee bit better, you know, and hopefully he'll be on at the end of the season. And what Jason said as well, I thought Lassad was fantastic when he came on. Showed for the ball, you know, I mean, you ask players 10 minutes ago and you're knackered, it's pouring rain and all that kind of thing. If a guy can hit the ball for a couple of more seconds to get your legs up the park, it makes so much difference. And of course, he was the ball that he did it doing for the winner. I have to say that mightily helped by the Aberdeen defence, who decided to have a 5-man warfare free kick they were never going to shoot for. And it was great. And it was, you know, I think, as you said, it was something that we needed, because, you know, there's not been much excitement around Celtic Park outside the Champions League this season. And it's nice to see games like that as well. And it's amazing as well, just finally, that after the game, all people criticised was the fact that Aberdeen were 3-1 up and they lost 4-3, and it's terrible for Scottish football, they can't have, don't you? And I'm thinking myself, if we'd been out and won 5-6-0, they'd be moaning like anything about the fact that Aberdeen aren't good enough and Scottish football's finished that. So you can't win, you know. But, you know, I think fans will be, you know, will take that kind of performance and result in scenario every week.
Aye, and someday, I don't listen to obviously that drivel Clyde, but somebody put a link on Celtic Minded about a guy Sean's call to it, and I listened to that, and the guy was absolutely excellent. I think he called up after the game on Saturday, and he told them a new one, just about how they keep talking Scottish football down, and they're part of the problem, and how people are saying like Celtic we've not got any competition in the league and stuff like that, and he's like, no, we need to earn the right to win games. The guy was actually brilliant, you know. The point, and they didn't have an answer for him, they just the usual, you know, they cut him off at the end and sort of made excuses, but he was excellent, and he made some real valid points about how Celtic need to earn the right to win the league. Nobody just gives you league championships, you need to earn the right. And they keep going on about Sevco this, Sevco that. They're not even in the league, so why are they even discussing them? They're a non-issue. You know, it's the other teams in the league we need to worry about. That's our competition. Because when the old Rangers won 9 in a row back in the days. I never missed a game home and away. How bad was the rest of Scottish football against them? They were going out and buying the English national team. And nobody goes on about they didn't have any competition. And bear in mind, Aberdeen took them at the final day of the season. They were struggling to beat teams like Aberdeen. Okay, granted, maybe Aberdeen and that are worse now, but I'd say for the money Celtic's investing, we're a lot worse off than we were under Martin O'Neill, monetary wise. I'd say the team's maybe on a par, but that's through good scouting and whatever Lenny's done to the team. I'd say when we're good, we're really good, but when we have our off days, we're not great. And I mean, look at the team. Tommy Burns, I think he went the full season unbeaten or whatever. Mm-hmm. And
you're spot on, because I mean, it's not our fault that some clubs in the SPL have people that couldn't run a menage taken care of. They've had there's 4 SPL managers sacked in the last month, because they've all choked and thought, Christ almighty, like, we're going to have to sell season tickets in 6 weeks and we better pretend that we actually know what we're doing and we'll get somebody in young and try and fool the fans again and all that. It's frightening, and it's like, Celtic can only beat what's in front of us, and it's not been easy this season, I mean, another thing I would say is that teams like Ross County and Inverness have put teams like Hibs and Hearts and that to shame this season. With a fraction of the budget, they've got good sides here who are hard to beat, who play football, who've got guys that can score goals, and the Highland teams, I mean, and it was interesting to see that there was a spat between Butcher and Derek Adams on Saturday, and it was quite funny, usually. It's not like Terry to be involved in that spat, obviously, but the thing I took it as is like, these are two teams that were playing Highland League football like a decade or so ago. And now the two of are fighting like anything to get points in the SPL, at the top of the SPL, and get to Europe. Yep. So, at the end of the day, that's because they've run their clubs well, they're not in debt, and that's how they do it. Now we have situations where other clubs are kind of like, well, we'll spend money or we'll not spend money, we'll sack the manager, we'll keep the manager, this kind of thing, and it's that. We're just Celtic are just bearing the fruity, policies we put in for the last 3 years. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's not our fault if, Aberdeen can't defend a corner or this, that, and next thing. We can only beat what's in front of us.
Absolutely, and you need to earn that right, and Celtic have earned the right. So we deserve all the praise we get. But obviously the mainstream media and stuff like that, they're no willing and giving us any praise, and they've still got this sort of chip on their shoulder that maybe we don't deserve it and stuff like that. And the cards have fell right for us, but they fell right for us because we've earned it. We've ran our club correctly, and we've got a good scouting network in place. We've got a decent team in the park. We've got a good, dedicated manager, and things are going good for us at the minute, and let us enjoy it. But that game on Saturday was an advert for Scottish football. When you look at on Friday night, the Motherwell Hibs game, that second half performance with Motherwell was absolutely brilliant. James McFadden's he's looking immense for them, and you've got to, for all he's a ex-zombie and stuff like that, Stuart McCall, what a job he's done on a shoestring budget with Motherwell.
Well, you get columnists, like you've had it so often in the last month. Guys like David Crowman, he's sicking yourself when you think of the money you gave that guy. And he's saying, the SPL's a disaster. You've got to get Sevco, get in this SPL as soon as possible and that kind of thing. And you're sitting there going, right, David, even if you think the quality's no good and this and that, the fans are going, it wasn't our fault that Rangers cheated for 10 years. It wasn't our fault they went and spent money they never had and went and bust. So why should we be punished for it? Celtic have been the biggest. We have suffered more than any other club in Scotland through the demise of Rangers. We lost a fortune money-wise. We lost competition. We've lost all sorts of things. We've lost the edge in the SPL because of it, because everybody expects us to walk over and think, that's it. And now we're supposed to be like, and it's your fault that you're running away with the league now as well. It's not our fault. We're just beating the teams in front of us, But that's, as you say, that's what it is. And of course, the campaign is now being amped up by Charles Green and his lapdogs like Chris McLaughlin to get them in the next tier of the Scottish League and all that kind of thing. And it's like, they just can't handle the fact that it's now a level playing field, and that's something they've never been used to.
I agree. I mean, when you look at down in England, Man United are waltzing away with that league. Bayern Munich waltzing away with the German league, Barcelona, Spanish league. So, they're down crying these leagues as well.
And I mean, they said that Kevin said something about, one team beats one team 1 week, and then the next week they get beat off the game. How's that a competitive league? And I'm not slagging you here, Jason, but Wigan thrashed Everton in the cup, and then Everton took Man City apart with 10 men.
I know. Aye, exactly. Oh, absolutely. Scotland is, I think the worst habit we've got in this country is no talking our game up, and it's been negative, and rather than concentrating on the positives. And if you talk things down constantly, some of the lesser mentally challenged people that listen to these mainstream media outlets and buy these newspapers, they get sucked into that, and I think that reflects on their thinking.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it gets in there. I mean, if you read enough crap about the product you're watching that you're consuming and you have no choice, but I mean, say if you're a Celtic supporter and all you're reading about is how bad Scottish football is, eventually that's going to form a negative connotations in your head. Like eventually you're going to start looking at them going like, maybe they're right, because everybody's easily influenced. You know what I mean? It seems like Celtic are being asked to apologise for success this year. You know?
Yeah.
It just makes you wonder what is going on. But obviously they just want Rangers back because the status quo suited so many people, and this obviously doesn't suit them.
The last 3 cup finals, Kilmarnock, Hearts, St Mirren win them. When's the last time that happened in the space of less than a year? You know, you had a great game of football yesterday between 2 teams that kind of went for it in a cup final. And you would never think that happened. You would never think that because of the Armageddon predictors were like, everything's finished, it'll never be the same again, blah, blah, blah. None of them will come in and say, by the way, this game would never have happened had Rangers Old Coast still been alive and in that SPL. Not a chance, because the chance of these 2 teams knocking out both Celtic and Rangers would have been almost unheard of.
Yeah.
They never say this is a great positive. It's just like, oh no, we need to get Sefco in the SPL immediately.
I know, it's laughable, absolutely laughable. Can I say something? I meant to say it a couple of weeks ago and I forgot all about it. My big mate Des Slavin asked us to give his pal, I think it's a guy who works with Crystal Rumpel for Duntoker, a shout out, because he's doing this Celtic charity. They're doing 8 fans are doing a walk on for Celtic charity. What it is they're running up and down every stair at Celtic Park. I think they've counted, there's 9,000, I've got the advert there, they worked out 9,000, sorry, 6,988 steps there is inside Celtic Park. I take it as walking up for the turnstiles as well. I take it it's all the steps that's actually outside, so it's every passageway. Bloody hell, that's something. So there's 8 of them doing it, and they're doing it for the Celtic 1-2, what's it called? The 125 for 125. Celtic Charity Foundation. So just a shout out for they guys, and if any's want to donate, I suppose you can go on Twitter and at 125 for 125. So that's a big shout out. Good luck with that, guys, and rather you than me. One of the guys I'm just seeing it, Stevie McGowan's actually for steps. Quite ironic. I'm just looking on the Celtic website, but no, good luck to these guys, and I hope it goes well and you raise plenty of money. So there you go.
Isn't it how players back in the 60s used to train? Like, Clough used to train players like that, make them run up the steps in the stadium.
I mind listening to some of the old stories. That was just before Big Steen was appointed to Celtic. They were on about the training they used to do, and the training wasn't with a ball. They used to run about the park, and some of the players would jump into the jungle and get a fag. Well, the players were running around, then join up for the next lap. It's so changed. I think that joke was, did he just get the Rangers team to run up and down like hills up Edinburgh or something like that?
It was a Gullen sand dunes.
Sand dunes, I just run up and down.
I've been there, and I tell you, it doesn't look that high, but I tell you try running in deep sand. And,
I know. But so what else can we talk about, Joe?
Well,
anything else happening?
I was going to do a segue there from high drama inside the stadium after 3:00. There was drama outside the stadium and further along the road before 3:00, and we're going to have to actually. Will I call Tom now, Paul? Yeah.
Yeah, call him if you want. Yeah.
I'll call, because I told him I'd call him back because he wants to have a say. I know he's in Canada, so I'm just going to. But so we're gonna get into the topic of what happened to the Green Brigade and young supporters. They were victims of what can only really be described as state-sponsored aggression. You know, one sec, I was going to add Tom in here. Oh, come on! And if you listen to the show from the start, you would have heard the audio from one of the YouTube videos that's doing the rounds of the attempted peaceful march on Saturday. And from the Crystal Bell pub, am I right there? Yeah, that's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
And well, no such march took place because of police presence. And Tom, are you there?
I'm listening now.
No problem. We're just going to start in. We're going to talk about the Green Brigade. I know you're in Canada, and
yes,
you wanted to come on and speak your piece. It's one of these sort of topics. I don't even know where to start. I mean, the only person.
Well,
I mean, Paul.
I can tell you where to start. I'm not happy with what's going on. I'm not happy with the Polish done. I'm not happy with the Green Brigade for what they done. It just seems every time we seem to be on something, they're opening the door for this media. The Polish were 100% right. But if they want the support of the supporters, work with the supporters, everything has to be done legal. If you do things legal, it keeps us out the paper. Set up meetings. Run the Polish ragged. Put it on their website. I mean, Jesus Christ almighty, if you were born in Glasgow, your granddad that stayed in Ireland could tell you what was going to happen to you if you'd done that. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to find out what they're going to do, especially if you're a Celtic supporter. So the people who's ever organised this, get it right. And there's things getting said about people in the association who have been at meetings with these guys, and they scream, and they're backing the Green Brigade to the hilt. And there's people starting to cut up other Celtic supporters, and that's wrong. That's not what Celtic supporters are about. We're a family and we stick together. This one mob running after the side to do their own thing is shite. We're Celtic supporters, we stick together and we'll do it together. The Polish are totally out of order in this. Totally out of order. And for that video I seen of them lifting that wee boy at 15 at the weekend, had I been standing there, if I'd have been one of the leaders of the Green Brigade, I wouldn't have been standing shouting, I've got you on camera. I'd have been in, jumping and tapping the Polish and getting to jail myself. I just don't like the way they're doing it. Get organised and do it right. Set up a meeting. Put it on your website. Tell them there's going to be 500 or 600 of us there. And you know what? Don't show up. Bring your helicopters. Bring all your horses and bring all your motors that you want. Because we'll not be there. We'll be up at Parkhead laughing at them when they come back. That's what we want to do. Now, how the hell can they put a helicopter up in the sky and say, we're going to take a video of you guys? How did they get the? How are they going to take a video of the boys that were batting underneath the bridge with the battens? No, we have to do this together. They have to work together. They have to go. They're saying, what is Celtic doing? Celtic can't come out doing nothing when they do it illegally. It's illegal no matter how we look at it, no matter how we want to see it, no matter how much we hate it, no matter how much we think it's wrong what they're doing. It's illegal, so Celtic can't step in. They're just going to, the papers will just run riot with them. Run riot with them. Green Brigade are brilliant. I love them. I was one of the few guys that stood up when I was right in the box at Parkhead. Stood up among the whole lot of them and cheered the Green Brigade when they started singing after they'd done their wee sit down the last time. I was the only one that stood up and done it. So I'm behind them 100%. But they've got to work with the rest of the supporters associations. And don't slag these people. I've seen the Celtic Supporters Association people, good, honest men that have fought for years and years, long before the Green Brigade came along. Long before they came along. They've been fighting for Celtic. We went through it. 50 years ago we went through all this shite. Certainly they're bringing it to light. Certainly we want to back them, but get it together and organise it properly. It's organising, and young boys at 15 are getting to jail for nothing. Whereas the leaders are, they're not getting to jail. Jump in and start pulling the police after that young boy at 15. That made me sick. There's my rant.
Fair enough, Tom.
Certainly was a rant there, Tom.
Sorry about that. It just pisses me off the police getting away with what they're getting away with. And people saying, what is Celtic doing about it? Nothing they can do about it because it was illegal. We only put ourselves in the paper and get shit. They're waiting. As I said earlier, your granddad's going to tell you. Your granddad that was still in Ireland while you were born in Scotland would tell you what was going to happen to you.
See, the thing is, Tam, I see what you're saying and I agree with Pat's it, but I think Celtic could do a lot more. Me personally, I know for a fact the Green Brigade have been promised this and been promised that and been promised meeting. And let's face it, you were right when you say the Green Brigade are just normal Celtic fans, and aren't we all? And they're the first to admit that. You know, they don't deserve special treatment, but they are getting singled out by the police, and this is wrong, and Celtic can be doing a lot more, in my mind. I know they've made a statement today, but I think there's a bit of debate whether it's 100% true what they said. I don't know. I don't know the exact ins and outs of what's happened in a lot of these meetings, but I think Celtic can be doing a lot more. That's my personal opinion.
Celtic could do things, but I'll tell you what, when people come out and they go into podcasts and different things, and they're saying that people like Joe O'Rourke and John Andrews and guys for the affiliation are in collusion, oh, come on. I know these people, and they would stand up and fight for their boys, and I've heard them fighting for their boys. And for them to turn around and say they guys are in collusion with law or anybody else is totally, totally wrong. And I know that for a fact. And somebody better show me that fact. That's not a fact. That's not true. These are good people, good Celtic supporters, and good, hard-working, fighting Celtic men.
Right, so I take it you're on about Tam. You're on about that podcast the laddie done yesterday. It was.
Aye, absolutely ridiculous.
Well, to be honest with you, he didn't name any of the guys' names. He just says members of the affiliation and association were present. He didn't mention them by name. So, but I don't know the ins and outs. Obviously, I wasn't there myself, so I can't.
He made it sound like it was a meeting with the association. He wasn't. He was never at the meeting.
According to this guy, he was there. He was present when Lowell said this.
He wasn't at the meeting. And actually, there's nobody come out and said that they've heard Lowell saying anything at all. Because I'm starting to find out, if he did, I'd be the first one that would say something to Lowell about it. Lowell's not the type of man that would say that.
Right, okay.
But the fact that he's coming out and he's saying that Lowell said this, there's nobody else at the meeting heard that. Nobody else at the meeting heard that. And
okay.
They turn around and say, that they're in collusion. That is absolutely pathetic. That's pathetic.
I don't know one way or the other, but I know Peter Lawwell's let the Green Brigade down on a few occasions. I know that for a fact.
Peter Lawwell's the one that made sure they would all get their tickets together. Has anybody told you? I mean, for Christ's sake, they're getting up there. It's costing Celtic money to fix seats, to break the bloody seats. I was going to Parkhead for 50 odd years and never broke a seat in my life. Most of the time I was stoned and I was drunk right enough, but
you're in the jungle.
You never broke a seat. Exactly that. Well, the only thing I broke was a can to pee in. That was the only thing that I ever broke. But at the same time, they can't be doing things like that. Come in and be Celtic supporters like the rest of us. We'll back you 100%. We will back you 100%, but for Christ's sake, let's do it legal. There's nothing that anybody can do to you if it's legal.
Yeah,
I've organised marches, I've organised strikes. You've got to have the Polish running all over the place. Have them running where they don't know whether their arse is punched or bored. Put it all out on your website what you're going to do, and then don't do it. But they've got to be ready. They've got to be ready. Have your helicopters and your horses and your vans ready. We're all going to meet at the Glasgow Green. 3,000 years. Okay, matches, get 3,000 Polish out. Polish will be happy, they'll get double time.
Yep. So one thing I would say as well, just a text for a good mate of mine, the lad that was on, I mean, I don't know the guy personally, the lad that was on the podcast, he's going to get the minutes of that meeting and he's going to read the minutes out on Friday. So I think it's an official minute.
There's another thing. He would never sit in a committee of mine if he's going to bring out the minutes of a meeting that I had with people, be Celtic and Celtic, to put in a podcast where the media can hear everything that went on at a meeting. He would never sit, because that guy can't be trusted. He would never sit in any committee I was on. To me, he can't be trusted.
But Tam, if the stuff let's just say the stuff he's saying is true, then can Peter Lawwell be trusted?
You know I've met him many a times,
Of course I do, aye.
And I don't sit doing and kowtow to
No, I know you didn't.
him. Him and I have, with an hour and a half, 2 years ago, have gone at one another, whether they didn't know whether they were going to have to phone an ambulance or the police, because the two of us went at it. Like, he is a Celtic supporter like you and I, and has to keep everything as legal as he possibly can. He can't be seen to be stepping out and saying, come out and say some things. But if these guys want to work with him and do things legal, by the way, I guarantee you Peter would help. He's the man that got them all there together in that section. That was him.
But the Green Brigade have continually said that they've requested meetings and he's been too busy or he's not responded or whatever.
But that works both ways. There's other times where they haven't showed up for meetings as well. Because I'm doing my homework on this, because I don't want to look like an arsehole on it. But there's times where they're not showing up for meetings either.
Hey, can I just make a point there, Tom? Like, we're getting a few phone calls coming in. I'm just because
see the thing. I've just had a message here as well, Tom. See the guy on the podcast. He was at the meeting, and he was on the committee of the Celtic Supporters Affiliation. So he was at this meeting. So at the end of the day, if what he's saying is true, at the end of the day, I know you're saying he's not to be trusted, but the bottom line is, if what he's saying is true, I'm quite disgusted with Peter Lawwell, to be honest with you. And I would rather he comes out and tells us.
It should actually get some people to put in writing who were at that meeting with him, to put it in a bit of paper that they heard Peter Lawwell saying that. Because I know Peter Lawwell, and by the way, if he did say that, if he said that, let him hang himself, I would be disgusted. And I'll be the first person to step up and tell him and carry a sign telling him it's disgusting.
Yeah, that's fair enough, and we agree on that anyway, do you know what I mean? So let's see how that pans out, and we'll no jump to conclusions now, but obviously give the guy his due and wait and see, because at the end of the day, if I was present at that meeting and they'd said that, I think I would have contacted the Green Brigade myself, because I'd have been sick to the pit of the stomach, if it's true, you know, so we'll leave it at that, man.
But I mean, here, can I just interject and say one thing?
Yes.
The fact is, we wouldn't be in this position, we wouldn't be having this conversation, and we wouldn't be this sort of worked up if there wasn't so much heavy-handedness from the police directed towards the Green Brigade in the stadium. And I think that's been kind of lost in a lot of this mire of he said, she said. At the end of the day, the problem still is that these lads are going to the game to support their team. Yes, fair enough, they're a bit radical. Yes, fair enough, they're a bit militant. But then each to their own. That's part of the Celtic family. You know, everybody's embraced. And they've never once sort of said they're bigger than the club. They are they're trying to be bigger than the club. But here they are trying to form a peaceful parade to, you know, highlight awareness of police intimidation and bans for the Friends. And the irony is, the actual peaceful protest, there is awareness of police intimidation, gets the biggest single attendance of police officers on horse. You can hear the helicopter in the video, right? So the irony is clearly there, right? But and the issue still stands. These lads are not happy with the way they're being treated. They're not bitching and moaning. They're just trying to make their point. Fair enough, Tom. I take on board exactly what you're saying. If you're going to do it through the legalities. You know, beat them at their own game. Beat them at their own game. That's the only problem. That's the only problem. When they say they're going to have a match, I open them wide open. Okay, so we know that there's 10 orange bands can march down the street. We know that they can march for Hampden to wherever they want and nobody bothers them. But I'm going back to what I said. You were born in Glasgow and you're a Tim. Expect to get what you get there if you don't do it legally. You're born in Glasgow, you're a Tim, they're coming after you.
Fair point.
67 years of age, and I know that. My granddad was alive would be 120 years of age. He knows that well. It bothers them.
Sorry, I better messing up this.
Glasgow, they're going to come after you if you're a Tim.
Fair point, mate. Fair point.
Right, we've been joined by a couple of callers here. Let me just see. I've just lost Paul for a second. I've lost Paul for a second. Paul, are you back?
Yeah.
That was my fault. I cut you off by accident.
We'll get to you in a minute, Paul, to tell us about the match.
We've been joined by Kevin O'Neill. Kevin, are you there? Are you there, Kevin?
Me?
No, not Tom, not you. The guy, the caller, Kevin.
Yeah, I still see a ringing in the background.
I can't really hear much of what you're saying. Have you got a mic on?
I can hear him there.
I can just hear it ringing like I'm phoning somebody. I can just hear it going.
I'm all right.
Try and call us back, Kevin, because that lane's not working. We've got Shifty Shooks on.
Graham, can you hear me all right?
Can I hear you? You're almost in my fucking ear. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, mate. I think it's a big coup for your show that you've got a member of the Celtic board on the show tonight, Thomas.
Step back from the megaphone now, would you, Davey?
Is that better?
No.
2 seconds.
That's a bit better.
Right, is that it?
No, you've gone back even closer again.
Right, give me a wee second, mate.
No bother.
I can hear him fine.
Oh, I'm thinking of the quality coming through my speakers and going to the mic for Spreaker.
It's not all about me.
Exactly. Did nobody tell you that, Jason? No. You're right, Davey.
Is that any better?
That's a wee bit better. I just try and talking at a normal volume will be cool. You were saying Tom is a member of the Celtic board.
Well, just is it Tom?
Yes.
Tom, talking about doing things legally by the book, and then you're advocating that guys attempt police assault. Can you imagine? I mean, personally, I don't care about the media, but can you imagine the field day they would have if they do what you're advocating, attack the police and drag police off people? The situation is that even if they had applied for a licence, the whole licence thing's a red herring. They've had corteos before. There was, as far as I know, in Paisley, about 10,000 people in the street yesterday. They've had marches before. The only reason this march was targeted by the police was because it was to highlight police abuse. And in a sense, in the long term, the police have played into the hands because they've shown themselves up for the bullies that they are. The situation is that, sorry mate, they didn't have a licence, but the officer could have used discretion and said, right, 20 minutes, walk up the road, don't do it again or we will come in heavy.
I agree. There's no problem with me. But as far as jumping in, what I'm saying is, I couldn't have stood there with a camera and watched a young boy. Didn't matter if I got to jail. Personally, I couldn't have stood there. That's just me, but I'm daft.
But this is the thing is, but Tom, this is the environment these guys are this is the kind of environment they're working in because they're being filmed constantly, you know. And I heard a rumor, right? I don't know if it's true or not, that a lot of police numbers were covered up on jackets, right, on Saturday.
That's true.
Is that true?
That really surprised me.
And they were also burst into different areas in Scotland.
And they say they actually said they were only reacting to a complaint. My arse.
Well, I tell you, the street that's the side entrance in McHugh's is on. I'm not sure of the actual street. That was jam packed. The Arnold Clark hire vans, fully police officers, and they were different divisions for different areas of Scotland.
I would. You get fan power working, and you call for a meeting and a march for the East End, for the West End, for the South End, for the North End of Glasgow. The same Saturday, have a march for each one. But every fucking police in Britain, you'll no stop us. But get it legal to do the march.
Aye,
Kevin,
Get a march for Casimil. Get a march for Easterhouse. Get a march for Govan. Get marches for all over the place. We all got a permit and we'll all march.
Tom, do you know what role the police have when people apply for licences to march?
No.
The police can object. All the police have to do is say, we suspect there may be public disorder if we allow this march.
Okay, so we still meet anyway. We're not marching. We're just going to walk.
That's fair enough. I'd agree with that.
That's all we're doing.
And it also, mate, I would say in your other point,
walk single file. You want us to walk single file, we'll walk single file. You want us to walk two abreast, we'll walk two abreast. You better follow the suit for each march.
I agree with that. See, Tom, see your other point about the lad who was talking about the meeting he was at with Peter Lovell. See if this lad, from what I've gathered, I've heard this before anyway, but I listened to the podcast and the guy seems genuine if it wasn't genuine, why hasn't the association affiliation come out and said this is wrong, it wasn't said, etc., etc.?
They will. They will.
We'll have to agree to disagree, because I think the lad is 100% genuine, and I'm more willing to believe that Lowell is a bit of a snake when it comes to stuff like this.
He's not. I actually spoke to people for the association the day that was at the meeting, and they never heard it. But at the meeting where he's talking about, well, that was said, the Celtic Supporters Association, I believe, were not present. It was the affiliation people that were there, because he was there with the affiliation, and the affiliation people have been called by the Celtic Supporters Association. They said, we never heard that. So the Celtic Supporters Association wasn't at that meeting where this was seemingly said, because they would have jumped in and said, hold it, we're walking out of here. You don't say that about any Celtic supporters.
Right,
they would have walked out.
Do you not even wonder why no one has come out then and said this did not happen?
Well, the Celtic Supporters Association wasn't at the meeting where that was seemingly said.
Or the affiliation then?
Well, the affiliation of the Celtic Supporters Association, CSA, that I'm a member of, first thing I done was call me, find out if they said that. And they said, we weren't at that meeting. But
the affiliation, because yesterday's podcast wasn't the first time this came out in the open. It's been around for about, I think, over a month now.
There was a few things, I believe, that was said, that the Celtic Supporters Association said, we're refusing to sign that or say or agree with that Celtic wanted them to do. We're refusing to do that. We're refusing to do that in support of the Green Brigade.
Just say to the listeners as well, anybody listening in, that we will have the man who's made the statement yesterday coming live on the show in the next 10 minutes or so, so he'll be coming on to say his piece as well. But I think we can go down the road that he said, she said that all the time. I mean, look, I was at the March on Saturday, and I've never seen anything like that in my 38 years on the planet, for something so trivial. For a group of 7 or 8 people walking down the street to have a police presence like that was absolutely unbelievable. And the intimidating tactics that the police put into that was just absolutely incredible. With battens up and numbers taped up and aggressive behaviour and aggressive language towards people. For me, they were there to provoke a showdown. It was as simple as that. They wanted a showdown that would have ended up with... how there was 13 people arrested, I'll never know. I'd love to know. I believe 5 of them were already released and another 8 have got reports getting sent to Bucket Fiscal. But I'd love to know what the hell they were arrested for, because I've never seen anybody commit a criminal offence in that entire thing.
Exactly. And another side of it is that only 13 were arrested because the police tactics, I've said this to somebody before about, see when the police kettle you, one thing is to stop you doing what you want, another thing is to provoke a response, a violent response, and it didn't work.
You're right, Davey. That's exactly what we were trying to do. Provoke a violent response.
Police were totally out of order. Police were totally out of order. Way over the top.
Boys, I'm going to shoot off, Jason. I'm up for the Hibs game, so I might bump into some of you. Alright, take it easy.
No worries, give us a shout, mate.
Take it easy, Davey, alright? Good luck, mate.
Cheers.
Yeah, bye. I've had a text from my pal that's in the Green Brigade, and he says the police stopped him when they applied for a licence for a fundraiser, even after the licence was granted. See, as soon as it was advertised, the venue was visited and told the event would not be taking place. So obviously, if the Green Brigade had applied for a licence, they'd have been knocked back for it anyway, I reckon. I've discussed with somebody, but I don't think you need a licence to hold a static demonstration. So see if you hold I'm not entirely sure about this, but see if you hold like a demonstration or like a meeting or whatever, a public meeting or whatever. I don't know if you need a licence, but after it, you just leave and walk to the game. Everybody's got to walk to the game.
You can do that with George Square.
Aye.
You can do it with George Square, as far as I'm led to believe. But the thing is, what they're doing is they're saying the march. That's what we have to be careful with. Like, they say, look, I've been done for it. It's called taking part a running street, but jostling jostling people on the sidewalk, a nuisance to traffic, pushing people in front of motors. I got all these charges put against me, and I never even done a thing. I was walking up the street. There was another guy in the road, one of them threw an umbrella. I caught him. I get a deal.
I think Green Brigade needs your number, Tal.
Street part and street fight. And I was jostling people. There wasn't a person on the road. It was on Cutsable Drive.
We've been joined by the worldwide phenomenon that is Paul the Tim. Paul, are you there?
Hi, how's it getting on?
Not too bad. How you doing? What did you want?
I'm good. How you doing?
How you doing? I'm good.
What did you want to talk about, Paul? As if we couldn't guess.
It's about Saturday. I know the 14-year-old boy, and he's harmless. And I seen the video. The video it was two cops. One cop pulled him over to the car. The other cop seemed to just come towards him.
No, the big fat bastard shouted.
Aye, he did. Big bastard got him. Two bastards got him actually.
Hey, what's the language, mate? Come on.
Aye, I know.
I've had to walk Joe and then
but the wee boy's harmless. It's a shame because he goes everywhere with Celtic. He goes home and away. He's gonna miss.
The boy didn't have a cover on his face. He didn't have a hoodie on. He was just walking by, and that big fat police turned around and he just said to everyone, "You loved him," and banged him against the motor for nothing. The boy was doing nothing. Now that's what I'm talking about. I couldn't have had a camera and watched that. I couldn't have. I'd have got to jail. I would have.
But I was killed in, so I couldn't do anything about
it. You'd have been right in there, Tim. I know you. See the thing as well. See when you actually think about it. I mean, that's 13 guys that's banned for going to watch Celtic now. You know, and so I find it incredible. It wasn't even at a game. They didn't even do anything, and they've been banned. So that's the law, I think. Until your case is up, you're banned. And obviously it'll get through when they go to court. I hope they get good lawyers and take the police for a few quid if they can, because that was an absolute disgrace.
Oh, that was Gestapo, that was.
Aye. So it was 6 cops trying to pull a wee lad apart. I mean, William Wallace didn't get it that bad.
That's the one I'm talking about. That's the one that driving me up the wall. I wanted to smash the telly in when I seen it. I was shouting and bawling. My wife come down the stair, said, "Who are you talking to?"
Jason, I spoke to Eto today, and he was raging with it. He's not happy.
I know. I mean, I think the full Celtic community, mate, is going off its head here.
He's talking. He had a phone call for the Peter Lawless secretary today.
And I so
if they're putting an email up on that Facebook, because he was telling everybody email her.
Aye.
So I'm doing she was happy with him.
Aye.
Well, as far as I know, there's a meeting going on as we're speaking with the Celtic Supporters Association, the affiliation, and I think the Green Bay is going on right now. And I think at Celtic Park, and with the police to find out what the hell happened. As we speak, that's happening. I'll know more about it tomorrow.
We've been joined by Kevin O'Neill again. Kevin, are you there? Nope, Kevin's gone. Shade up. We're going to start dropping some Skype calls.
The Tim's on here. Wait a minute, Paul. So this is your first time calling in, mate. So when was the last Celtic game you missed?
Somebody's not got their Skype turned off.
Somebody get that.
James Brown, if you want to call on a game, mate, turn your Spreaker down.
What's the last game you missed, Tim?
Spartak Moscow night. The night Paul Hartley scored.
All right, the night Hartley scored. Bloody hell, that's the last game you missed.
Under Gordon's sign.
When was the last time you bought a pint?
I bought one on Saturday night.
Did you? Just the one?
Kettle.
We're going to need to start dropping some Skype calls here, so we're getting all clogged up.
Paul, you got anything else you want to ask, mate?
That's it.
Right, you mate. Come on again.
That's me. No problem, Jason. All the best. See you later, boys.
Cheers, Tim.
Cheers, Paul.
We're getting a flood of calls from different people. Cheers, Paul. Thank you, mate. Tom, it's all right if we let you go on, mate, because we're just trying to get a bunch of calls in here.
Okay, you can get me another night. I want to talk about Vegas and get all the Tims out to Vegas.
Not a problem.
The will no love you. You can sing what you like, and you can march anywhere you like.
Land of the free, Tom. Land of the free.
Okay.
Take it easy, Tom.
Good luck, boys.
Good luck, mate. Good luck. Cheers.
Right, God bless.
Oh. Woo. That escalated quickly.
The callers coming in.
Kevin, you back, mate?
I'm back, I can hear me.
That's fantastic. That's much better, pal. What did you want to talk about there in between all that mayhem?
I was listening to Tom there, and that was a cracking rant, by the way. He was on it,
Tell you.
So about whether you agree or disagree.
Exactly. Well, I agree with some of what he says, but I mean, I think on Saturday, for example, by the letter of the law, there should maybe have had permission to do what to do. But I mean, what permission do you need to walk to a football stadium? And let's be honest here, what threat to public order did they really pose? I mean, it's a group of guys, football fans, walking to the game. What warranted 200 plus officers who just so happened to be in the area? You know what I mean? There was dogs, I hear from Paul. There was horses. Yeah, dozens of vans, and it seems to me there's obviously a vendetta against the Green Brigade in particular. And me personally, I'm viewing this as I wasn't there on Saturday. I'm no member of the Green Brigade, but I'm viewing this as a personal attack on me as a Celtic fan, because that's basically what they are to me, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, I don't have any clue about whether you need a permit this or next thing, but I'm of the opinion that if you're going to be a revolution, you don't invite anybody to be a revolution, you just do it, right? And so the Green Brigade were making a stance. I mean, it's also been, I think, missed it. They were all wearing T-shirts on Saturday that supported the people that have been banned from Celtic Park as members of the Green Brigade, which was really good. And that's what it should be about, you know what I mean? Because I feel, like you, Kevin, that there's a dehumanisation of the Green Brigade going on right now to justify the continued harassment that you get against them. And I don't actually like referring these guys as a Green Brigade, because to me they're Celtic supporters, you know? That's what we all are. We're all Celtic supporters, and we should always be sticking together, whether you agree with hate Peter Lawwell, like Peter Lawwell, whatever. You know, we'll all be here long with Peter Lawwell's gone and all the rest of it, and the Green Brigade and the Celtic supporters that are in the Green Brigade and all that, so will they. They'll be there forever and ever and ever. And I just can't even put the words what it was like on Saturday to see that. And this is not happening at any other football ground. It's not happening to any other football fans. You know, and I've heard... Sorry, when you go, mate.
There's a bit of vendetta, it seems to me, and I think the kind of ACAB thing maybe doesn't help. I mean, the police are human. If you call me a bastard, I'm not going to be too happy about that. Do you know what I mean?
But totally agree, aye. But then at the end of the day, I'd probably be calling them that as well if they were doing me what they were doing in the Green Brigade.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, that is the thing.
To be honest with you, see if that was your son, see if that was your 14-year-old son, I wouldn't like to think what I'd want to do.
No, I'd do what Tom says.
Exactly.
Sitting in the jail, you know what I mean? It's as simple as that.
I was kind of glad that I wasn't there myself. I had my wee boy that day. I was watching the videos and images, and I was thinking, I don't know if I'd be able to show the restraint that the guys actually did. Because at one point you see them all kettled in, and it looked like they're all pretty silent. They're all standing static. They're not even chanting. They're no attacking or throwing or anything. Do you know what I mean?
You're right, Paul, and sorry, Joe, but you're right. As an attack on Celtic supporters, because the Green Brigade are just Celtic supporters. You know, they're just like guys, members of a supporters club, and the way they get treated, it was absolutely shameful. That's why.
I mean, I'm viewing this. I mean, obviously I wasn't there, but I'm viewing this as an attack on me as a Celtic fan. And I think the sooner the wider support start viewing it like that, and we'll work together, we can hopefully get this stupid bill scrapped, because it's a piece of nonsense, to be honest. They're going about how it's combat sectarianism and all the rest of it, but there was already existing laws there to tackle that. You can't generally get Celtic fans with sectarianism, because we're generally with a few exceptions maybe, we're not really that way inclined. I think anyway. So what did they do? They bring in the offensive behaviour bill, and that allows them to target football fans wanting to go to the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally agree. And as you say, there was laws in place to deal with sectarianism. They just weren't implemented. They just never acted on them. There's always been laws in place.
They praised Kenny McCaskill, praised the Rangers fans at Hampden when we had a return to sicker and old days. It was like song after song, no Pope of Rome and all the rest of it going round in a loop, you know, and they were praised to the high heaven.
Kevin, I've been involved in marches in Scotland in the past for years and years and years. And the first thing the Post did every time then was make it as aggressive and as much harassment as possible for the people that were on the march, right? And I tell you, eventually it changed, and I'll tell you the reason it changed, because they realised that we weren't going to go away. That, you know, we weren't going to do intimidation. And it got to the point where their attitude went, if we harass them, do everything we could to, listen boys, it's an hour a year, get them round and get them away. And that's how, I mean, I've been to games in England, as Jason has. I find games in England far more intimidating than the ones in Scotland. I mean, there's a level of aggression at some English games, it's like, Jesus Christ, I never see that in Scotland. But the Poles have got the attitude there primarily of get them in the game, get them to watch the game, and then get them the hell out of the area as soon as possible. And that's it. This is a completely different thing. This is a targeted intimidation of these people. And as I say before, they were Poles were there on Saturday to provoke the Green Brigade into violence. I've absolutely no doubt about that.
Oh, they would have loved that if some of the Green Brigade had lashed out. They would have loved that.
That's where we're headed. That's where we're headed now, isn't that? You know what I mean? When does this stop becoming a football issue and become a civil rights issue? You know what I mean?
I think it's already a civil rights issue, Joe, because obviously the show we done with the Green Brigade guys, they actually told us examples of their group members are getting targeted at their workplace, at their home, returning for holidays when they're applying for jobs. It's already it's already abuse of people's civil rights at the minute, if you ask me.
They're mentioning the family as well, eh?
Aye, and for people to say Celtic's doing enough with the odd statement here and there, no.
Like I said earlier, I said this earlier, like when we were messaging privately, I think we've gone past the place where Celtic statements even count for anything at this stage. You know, I mean, it's like I think it was you made the comment, Paul. The statement there is a carbon copy of more or less the last one. You know?
Another thing is, if people are being banned, for instance, as Jason said, you know, that far for the ground, and Celtic can damn sure do something about it to that far for the ground.
I don't know how the laws work and stuff like that, but you would think so. But I mean, we know guys in the Green Brigade, so I'm sure if Celtic actually, I mean, Celtic should have the Green Brigade in Celtic Park the night. You know, they should be working with these boys and finding out a solution to this, because we're all in this together. We're all Celtic supporters. We only exist because of Celtic. You know, and it's like, we don't want to damage the club. We all want to work together, and I'm sure the Green Brigade want to work with Celtic. But Celtic need to play ball, and Peter Lawwell's got to play ball. You know, and it's just as far as I'm concerned, it's not happening. And I'm raging. I'm raging when we went on Saturday. I met one of my pals outside the ground, and you could hear that helicopter. I wasn't early enough to get into the march, but I would have been done. And but if they organise anything again, I'll definitely be there. But they should maybe, I know Tam was a bit mental, but they should maybe take up Tam's idea and organise 10 different places and no turn up and stuff like that. But
the thing is, I mean, regardless of whether they did it legally or not, or whether they should have, I mean, like that's neither here nor there, in my opinion. But see, now we know what the response will be to these fellas if they do try and do anything. Now we know, like, what kind of heavy hand will come down, you know.
And I think the next time they organise something, there'll be thousands there.
I think so. Paul. I think so too.
Dan mentioned something earlier on, something about a static protest, and that's not legal. I remember I stayed in St Andrews myself, but there was the SDL tried to have some demonstration in Dundee last year, and they weren't allowed, so they had a static thing, and then the police just kind of contained it, and I think there was maybe about 50 SDL boys, and there must have been about, 600 anti-fascists, but they put on it was like a celebration of multiculturalism and that. But the SDL, they were allowed, because it was static, they couldn't stop it,
Yeah. We've been joined by James Brown. James, are you there?
Alright, boys.
What's the crack, James? Where are you, mate?
Alright, I just wanted to ask, see the night, is the boy that was on the night to set the record straight with the affiliation? Because obviously the guy that was on there that was saying that he was wrong what he was saying about the meeting and all that, and the boy said he's going to come back to the meeting. Is he coming on the night?
No, I'll tell you what.
He's coming on the night as soon as he sorts his kids out
and,
bed and stuff. So
speaking of that podcast, we have the actual podcast on the line. Celtic Dreams.
How you doing, guys?
Not too bad, thanks.
I'm a bit pissed off that nobody's mentioned my good music that I play.
We've got other issues at the moment.
And I believe you were playing me too, so I'm doubly pissed off.
Peter Lowell's going to issue a statement about it.
No, do you know, guys, last night I was kind of a bit shocked as well. Just saying, because it was St. Paddy's Day, I thought I'd just do a wee show and what have you. Next thing we got the phone call in the chat room, the parrot came on the show, we spoke about it, speaking about it in the chat room, and we got your man on, and I think I know what Tom is saying, but if I'm sure once you hear the guy and if he comes on the show, I even last night I spoke to him, I think we were up to about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning speaking. And I think he's totally genuine, and I hope we did say that we were maybe going to do a show after you guys, but I did say to him, I says, look, why don't you go into Hail Media? There's a bigger picture, there's a bigger audience there, and at the end of the day, I think we keep on going on about the Green Brigade, and I think it's went beyond the Green Brigade because it's affecting the whole of the Celtic fans. And when he's come out with obviously saying that Peter Lyle is working with Celtic, if Celtic aren't working with the Polish, why is there cameras being pointed out? Why is there cameras on the roof at Celtic Park that have never been there before? And when we talk about, so who's allowed that to happen? And at the end of the day, is the guys have been on your show. They've spoke about how they've been victimised. And if you go to a game, if we're playing Dundee or playing St Mirren or playing Ross County, why is there so many Poles there? Why is Peter Lowell not coming back and turning around saying, no, we don't need all you guys?
That's an honest and very, very, very simple question, isn't it? Like,
no, it's a simple question, but he has never come out and answered it, man.
Yep. And I mean, at the end of the day, social media is a way that people can get the message out to the fans, and people aren't silent any longer, and people can speak to each other, and there is methods of communication which we're using at the minute. So Celtic need to address this issue, because this is serious accusations, and I'm sure the guy wouldn't be saying it lightly.
No, I absolutely agree. It's like whether people completely believe what he says or completely disbelieve what he says, he has made accusations towards Celtic that he's willing to back up with minutes and stuff like that. And Celtic have got to answer that, even if they say we completely refute all of this and we're going to take it further, whatever. But the longer they didn't answer it, the more their guilt looks.
Yep, totally agree, Paul.
The thing is, my timeline just went into meltdown, and a lot of people are saying that that's got nothing to do with the club. How can the club get involved? If the club aren't getting involved, why is the young guys banned for the game?
That's
so
true.
They want to get involved in the club. If they want to get involved in matters when it suits them, because it happened, 2 miles, a mile and a half away from the ground.
Yep.
So
exactly.
How can the club turn around and say it's nothing to do with us, but then ban the young guys? So the next time I'm out on a Saturday night, I get steaming out my nut. If I ever get lifted, am I going to get a letter from Celtic saying, I'm sorry you were lifted on Saturday night for being drunk and disorder? You're banned until you go to court.
That's a fair point.
To be fair, sorry to ban there, guys, but I think it's actually, is it not that the courts or is it the police that ban you until you go up to court? I've seen one guy today on Twitter saying that he was one of the guys that was arrested, and he's banned from going to football until he's up at court. Jack Allen, I think his name was on Twitter, something like that.
But the point is, how can the police ban you for... That's what I'm saying, seeing a Friday night, if you get arrested, do they ban you for going to football? If you get lifted on a Friday night? How can they bring that law in and you're not at a football game?
I don't know.
But you probably got a point, mate. It probably is that. And I think some guy on Twitter was explaining to me the last time.
Some guy was saying that it wasn't actually the club that's banned him, but he is banned through the courts or by the police until he's up at court.
That, to me, it seems absolutely ridiculous. Like you say, you get arrested in the street, right? You're nicked. Oh, by the way, what football team support? Celtic, right? You were banging for there as well. And that's just nonsense. But anyway, at last show, we've been joined by the very man who took this debate on when he called Celtic Dreams. Stevie, you there?
I was just going to make that point out here. We're going to need to drop a few calls here. So Kevin and James.
I was just going to say I'll sit off and make some room. All right.
Right, no problem.
Okay.
Cheers, boys. Make a bit of room there because Skype can get bogged up. Stevie, you there? Hello? Hello? Everybody still there?
I'm here. I don't know why you listen to me.
I was delighted you're still there. Hello. So who's all still there? Let me shout out.
Yes, you.
Stevie, you there?
Hello.
Hello, there you are, Stevie. There you go.
How you doing?
Not too bad. I thought we'd lost you there. Giving you a big intro. Listen, Stevie, I've just been informed by our backseat driver, Harper, that we should actually just make clear for anybody who hasn't listened to the Celtic Dreams podcast from last night what it is you said, but I think we're probably going to cover that ground anyway right now while you're on the show. Have you been listening to the show so far? Have you heard the differing opinions, shall I say?
He's breaking up, guys, sorry.
Oh, sorry, Stevie. I shouldn't ramble so much. It's just down to the point, shouldn't it?
Get to the point, though.
Paul, you take over, mate. You take over, because...
Stevie, have you been listening to the show so far?
He's breaking up, guys. It's all jump my other.
Tell you what we'll dump... James, you still there, mate? James isn't there. We'll cut James out. Tell you what, Stevie, can we call you back in a second?
No probs.
All right, 2 seconds. Right, I'm just going to add Stevie in again there, okay? See if we can get a decent line. Stevie, here we go. Just call him now. This dead air is no good for us. Oh, it's not coming in.
This is hang up first, I think, you know.
Is that what it is? Well, he says he's online, so.
It's coming up as over now. Is he there? Stevie?
No, he hasn't. Stevie, you there?
That's better.
Can you hear us, aye?
Hear you now, yeah.
Alright, I was just mentioning there. Paul, you go ahead there, mate.
Have you been listening to the show so far, Stevie?
Sorry?
Have you been listening to the show so far? This is like So, I mean, would you like to tell people what you said on the Celtic Dream show last night, and then we can take it on from there?
Well, I'd like to think everybody's heard what was said last night. Every word of that, true, 100%. If serious allegations, like I made last night, were false, then I'd have been expecting a bit of a backlash today, but not a peep from anyone. So, to paint a picture, there was 2 separate meetings here. The association were in first, and then the affiliation were in second. 2 reps from each organisation. Present at my meeting was myself, affiliation president, Peter Lawwell, Ronnie Hawthorne, and David Brannan. So I'm assuming, I know for a fact, I spoke to the CSA guys. They got the same video footage that we got, the same gist, the same stuff, the same stories. But our meeting finished with a conversation which had, that ultimate line in it, enough rope to hang themselves. That was our meeting. Whether that was mentioned to the association or no, I can't speak for them. I can only speak for what I heard.
And so we'd obviously had a guy on earlier saying that from the association point of view, he phoned them up and they denied it. So it's fair enough from their point of view, but as I say, you're standing by your story, mate, and we've got no reason to disbelieve you. And I've spoke to, I don't know you personally, but I've spoke to somebody that does know you, and they've backed your character up 100%. So at the end of the day, I've got no reason to disbelieve you, mate, and I'm actually quite disgusted.
Well, since that meeting, there's no qualms about the CSA not being privy to it, because since that meeting we've met, the CSA, Green Brigade, all sat together. Celtic Trust, we've all spoken separate occasions, and we've all hammered home. The CSA boys spoke to the Green Brigade as well about what they've seen, so there's no question there what they've seen. We all seen it. It was all there. It was just certain things said, obviously, between the 2 different meetings that are different. So just in case anybody gets their wires crossed, that the CSA were saying this or the Federation were saying that, everything that I said came from our meeting, not the CSA meeting. So you guys will need to speak for themselves.
Stevie, what kind of tone was Peter Lawwell and Ronnie Hawthorne speaking in regarding this?
What kind of tone?
Aye, I mean, what was their point of view? Where are they coming from here? Are they, were they saying, you're with us, we need to get rid of them, or what was the kind of tone?
Basically, what they were doing, their tactic was to get the other organisations against the Green Brigade, plain and simple. Plain and simple, that was the tactic. We were showing footage of broken seats. We were showing a very professional video that was put together by Mr. Brannan, I must say. They had a title up at the start saying Green Brigade Section 111, and then it changed, and then it came up saying lateral movement, and then they had all different camera angles on them doing lateral movement, and then they stopped the wee conversation. They then moved on, clicked a button, next episode came up, and it was called Motion. I think there was one match the Green Brigade done this motion thing, and I think a few seats had been broke during that, and they've zoomed in on a couple of different individuals holding up pieces of broken seats. Now, one of the guys who they zoomed in on holding up a broken seat is a guy who they then followed up with 4 or 5 different matches, all pinpointing the same guy, a boy with red hair. And when they went to him, they kind of zoomed in on him, and Ronnie and Peter had obviously had a conversation prior to this, and Ronnie says, "This is the guy here, this is the guy I'm telling you about." So it got paused, and then Peter says, "Right, well, we'll need to get this fixed." And Ronnie Hawthorne's words were, "Yes, we'll get rid of him." Now, after that, I think it was another 2 or 3 home matches after that. I think we're maybe into early January now. You remember the Green Brigade? There was 4 members of 111 arrested with ginger hair entering the stadium. So put that together, and Celtic turned around and try and tell me that they're not colluding with the police.
Right, and there's been a post on one of the Celtic websites there saying about. But now we're talking about the banning orders. It says there's been police court ordered bans, but there's been instances where lawyers have argued against the football banning order successfully, and Celtic have enforced the ban. So that's some cases as well. So obviously it's been overturned by the courts, but Celtic have enforced the ban.
Yes.
So that's another.
Well, I think to carry on the game the other week. Remember, the Green Brigade came in and then never took their seats and left again. Guys were getting issued with banning orders, and that. I think the stewards and the police made it clear to them that it was Celtic that had instructed it.
Aye, when it's stewards that's acting, stewards are working for Celtic. I mean,
of course they are. Of course they are. Of course they are.
And you tell me they don't meet after the games and stuff.
Words that I've just mentioned from that meeting. The guy with the ginger hair. There was loads. There was individuals picked out. Loads of different instances. They had names for everybody. Can't remember them off heart. There was nicknames and everything involved. But the guy with the red hair, they had also pinpointed him for some carry on at Tynecastle. He seemed to pop up anywhere they had kind of juicy footage, if you like. This guy was quite prominent in it, so they sat there and then says he's got to go. So they made their mind up there that they were going to ban this guy, So how did they do that? So without knowing the guy's name, they lifted 4 guys with red hair. The Green Brigade boys will back this up. It was there. Remember, I think they had a kind of campaign that night as a laugh, Justice for Gingers or something, wasn't it?
I remember.
So basically, what they've done is that information's been passed. The police have lifted 4 guys with red hair, who are probably 4 guys with red hair and 111 to make sure they got the right guy. Whether they got him or not, I don't know, but.
Unreal.
Oh my god! You know what's flashing through my head right now? The Stasi. This is like.
I mean, Celtic came out and make a statement today, and at the end of the statement, it's laughable. I can't remember the exact words, but they say it's laughable that we're colluding with the police. So if they're coming out and there's guys like yourself have got information to state the contrary, why come out and make these statements and tell lies?
Right.
You know, and another side of the coin is people will say, what's the motivational factor for you coming on here and telling lies, which I sort of can't see myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I just find it incredible.
No, I mean, sorry, Jerry, just to say that I think what Stevie said was absolutely spot on, was that, you know, the stuff that he said tonight and last night on Celtic Dreams is, you know, would be slander if it was lies. I mean, he'd be in serious trouble if he was telling lies here. So I'd fail to see any motivation that Stevie would have for telling lies.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say as well is, like, last night when I was sitting there, and after we've just listened to Stevie, we're all kind of quite numb. But when you start thinking about it, if you start putting one and one together, maybe in the past, because we do love our club, we do love going to see Celtic, we kind of came up with three. But then once you start putting all the pieces to the jigsaw together, you say to yourself, I don't believe this. And all the kind of facts that we've been talking about is coming all together. Then, as you say, as they came out with another statement, so obviously they've heard our podcast, last night's show, as I say, they've come out with a statement which they done a few weeks ago. And me and Stevie were kind of laughing about it last night off the air and saying, well, what's going to happen? And we were kind of having a joke about it. But Stevie says, nothing at all. So if that was the case, what is Celtic doing about it? Because if it was slander, Paul, as you say, Celtic would have had the lawyers in today.
Absolutely. Of course they would.
So yeah. Can I ask you, Stevie? I mean, it's
quite sad.
Why do you think we're on this big, massive merry-go-round and Celtic? Like, it seems to be that Celtic are leading us all on this merry dance until we all, I don't know, either run out of steam or the Green Brigade just disappear. I don't know. It seems to me, what's the end? What's the end game here? What do you think the end game is?
Well, for me, it's clear the PLC want to smash the Green Brigade. That's my perspective on it. People might think different, but that's what I think. Judging that day from that meeting we had, sitting watching, why compile this? Why have the level of surveillance on them? Why? What's the justification for it? You know, you think any of these other clubs in Europe and whatever that's got paying customers who create and bring to the stadium what the Green Brigade bring? Why would you not want to encourage that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Why?
I don't know.
That's a
$64,000 question, isn't it? What is
what
the
they
point?
want? What we want a clean stadium where none of us are allowed a point of view or a political thing. But you know what we want? Lemons. You know, Celtic supporters.
Yeah.
You know.
I know. I mean, as we were saying earlier, Stevie, that this thing that we possibly would be trying to push the brand and get rid of all these people first, and then we'll push the brand in the world.
100%.
The reason why millions of people around the world love us is because of who we are and where we came from. And that's never going to change. That's the reason why we've got millions of supporters around the world. And if you eradicate that, you eradicate the millions of people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And play let the people sing over the tannoy and then have a snipe about what we're singing.
I know.
Have they actually listened to the words and the morals of that song? You know?
Exactly. I know. There's an interesting post being put up Hull City's website, and it's about talking on the subject we've got with fans. And I'd urge everybody to go on Hull City's website and read this statement. It's actually excellent. And it's how Hull City are backing their supporters. They had an away game with Huddersfield Town, and it's been given security categorisation of C+IR by West Yorkshire Police. It's the highest possible security categorisation, and it says despite Hull City having no record of fan trouble or disorder. So it's about them working together with their fans. It's quite, I don't want to read it all out, it's quite long-winded, but they've formed a flag, it's called, Fans Liaison and Advisory Group, which will engage with fans to bring added life and spectacle to the KC Stadium and match days and allow fans like whatever freedom. So it's an excellent statement. I'd urge, if anybody's interested in obviously the current situation with Celtic and its support and the police, go on and read that, and it's quite uplifting. You know, the way the fans, the board is working together with the fans. I mean, a good friend of mine's a Motherwell fan, a guy I work with, and he's got season ticket for Pat. He goes with his pal and his laddie. And he says, they boys, they got openly encouraged by Motherwell. You know, their ultras group that sit down that corner. And, you know, it's perplexing to me why Celtic aren't doing more to encourage us.
Exactly. Exactly. He should be making the section bigger, giving the guys everything they need, but it's infuriating. It's infuriating. But
it's also a bit sickening. I mean, that it seems the club. I mean, obviously, I think the cops are obviously drilled with this idea that if you let these Tims do what they want, then they'll just become savages and rip society apart, right? That's obviously where this sort of weird and scared bias comes from, right? But it's kind of sickening that the club doesn't seem to be willing to stand up to that, and it's people like the lads of the Green Brigade and people in Section 111 and anybody who's ginger as well. You know what I mean? Are like you're just getting picked on, and it's completely. I can't get my head completely around it.
See, to be honest with you, Joe, if the guy did break a seat, well, fair enough. Celtic's quite right to pursue him and whatever. But arresting 4 guys with red hair, no, come on. But if the guys broke a seat, why don't they identify him and send somebody in to take him out?
Well, that's it. They're obviously using the tactic that will lift guys entering the stadium as opposed to creating any order by trying to lift them from their seat. But going back to the broken seat issue, there was 2 or 3 guys holding up bits of broken seats during this motion. Things that they say is that's where the seats got broke. So it was clear the seats were broke then because the plastic bits that were broken off were being thrown about and held aloft. But after that, they then went to a footage after the game where David Brannan's walked with Ronnie Hawthorne, whoever took the camera, right round the whole section of 111, filming in the rows, looking at each individual seat that was broken. And they came back with a figure of something like round about 140 broken seats damaged at that match. Now, speaking to the Green Brigade boys, they said that absolute rubbish. The seats were an accumulation of seats that were broken from last year and from the start of this season that were never repaired. So there's no way they broke 140 seats in one match. It's just
aye.
It's not happened.
I mean, the thing is,
but this is the picture that Celtic's tried to paint to us.
Aye. So the Green Brigade have got 80 members and they broke 140 seats. They must have been doing some jump about, I'll tell you. But the thing is, this is a show now for anybody to call in. If somebody for Celtic's listening, call us in, put us straight. You come in and argue your point. We're all Celtic supporters. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
But is there a gap there now, Jason? Is that what it is? Is that where we stand right now? We're the fans, they're the force.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, we are Celtic.
I know,
we are the fans.
exactly.
We're the lifeblood. They're just custodians. They're getting paid to do a job.
Yeah.
We're paying for the privilege to go and watch Celtic, and that's what we all love doing. So I want all this stuff resolved. I don't want to hurt Celtic with this. I want everything resolved. I want the Green Brigade to get treated with respect and not to live a life looking over your shoulder because you've got a fascist state after you. I want Celtic to fight their case. I want Celtic to come out and put statements like Hull City done. And know the sort of statement they put over the day. We need actions for Celtic. We need Celtic to get meetings with the Green Brigade. We need to get these laddies in and have Celtic honour their promises to them.
Oh, hold on a second. It's alright.
He's alright, you hear me?
There was a problem there. Somebody called in, there was just a lot of noise. Sorry.
Right, so we need Celtic to start honouring their promises, to get a meeting with the Green Brigade. I can't for the life of me understand why this meeting hasn't took place. And I know they've met in the past.
See, from both sides, the affiliation, that was myself that went, was represented 2 weeks ago at this meeting, the Focus, in the stadium. It was myself, 2 guys for the CSA, Superintendent McAllister, and one of his officers, along with Ronnie Hawthorne, who had this meeting, to bash out the figures and see what was happening and let us take the Focus to task and question them. But as soon as we sat down, the first question I asked at that meeting was, were the Green Brigade invited to Ronnie Hawthorne? And his reply was no. So the whole focus of everything against the Focus unit mainly was the Green Brigade issue. Why invite the association, the affiliation, or anybody else that was invited and no invite the Green Brigade?
Exactly.
So I just, that's up to them to explain, but
yeah, no, absolutely. And as I say, if MD for Celtic's listening to this, we'll put these. They've obviously got contacts in the Green Brigade. Get these boys into the stadium and get speaking to them.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and get dialogue and get all this crap sorted out so that we can get back to being united.
The Green Brigade boys have admitted that they had a good relationship with some stewards, and I think they had their own kind of liaison steward guy who was in charge of the section that they got on really well with, and I think he kind of kept things in check for them. And I think, to be honest, sometimes they've not really had major gripes with the club. I think that the major gripe obviously is the police, but the gripe that I can see from a fan's point of view is the club's refusal to back them on this police stance. You imagine that mob at the other end of the, I hate talking about them. You imagine that mob at the other end of the city. You imagine that was some of them attacked, going up Paisley Road West. You imagine Charles Green and whoever else runs their media, Walter Smith and the rest of you. You imagine what they'd have come out with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your club sat on their hands for 2 days and then came out with that embarrassment this afternoon. Mm-hmm. You know, we've sent a letter of complaint into Strathclyde Police. They should be coming out in a statement and publicly condemning Strathclyde Police, condemning the SNP, condemning the government, condemning everything about it.
Yeah.
Showing a set and sticking up for our support. They're not doing it. They are not doing it. They're failing us big time.
You know, on the broken seats thing, Ricky Henry just tweeted in and said, I can vouch for the broken seats not getting fixed. I sit in 1 War 3, and my seats have been broken since Big Jan scored the winner against Rangers Old Code 2008.
There you go. There you go.
But and the thing is, we don't want to hurt Celtic. We're all Celtic supporters. We love Celtic. Love Celtic. We just want to.
It's a shame it's came to this.
Yeah, and how hard is it to organise a meeting? The Green Brigade have never reneged in any meeting that Celtic have set up. I know that for a fact. So if for any meeting, the Green Brigade will turn up for it. So if Celtic contact the Green Brigade to get in, they'll be there.
Mm-hmm. We also offered both parties as the affiliation, when I was still on board, as joint mediators to come in and sit at a meeting and just sit silent, take the notes, take the minutes, and just make sure that when the meeting finished, both sides went their separate ways, that it was the truth and the clarity that came from both sides, so that the Green Brigade couldn't leave and say, oh, Celtic said this or never done that, and Celtic couldn't turn around and say, the Green Brigade done this, done that. But unfortunately, that meeting never materialised. But
in the end of the day, we were on a podcast. We'll not even put it out live. Celtic, call in. We'll get the Green Brigade on. You can batter out your differences on here. You know, and it's at the end of the day, there's loads of ways they can get in contact, but just call the guys, get them up to the stadium, talk to them, and let's get things sorted and let's get back to supporting the club.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is it difficult?
Even aside from the Green Brigade issue, I mean, regardless of what group you're in or what organisation you're involved in, Saturday, these scenes were disgusting, wrong, terrible. A modern society, guys trying to walk to a football stadium, you know. I'd love to hear somebody for the club, you know, coming out and saying something about that. What other team in the country, or what, you know, would have put up with that?
Yeah.
Put up with that. And fair dues to everybody that was there that never reacted. You know what I mean? Because all it would have took was one person to punch or kick back, and then that would have went on to, you know, you'd have bodies in the streets. But
is that what they want, though? Is part of me thinks that's what they want, so they can go, told us.
Absolutely. You've got to hold your hands up to the Green Brigade and see how resilient they've been, because they're doing everything they can to try and call these boys out, and they're staying strong. Now, what we need now is the whole support to galvanise now and just say enough's enough. It's there. We all see it. We can see it. It's clear. The videos are there. The photographs are there. Build on it, you know. Take the club to task on this, you know. Stick up for us. They're not doing it. Not doing it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But
Celtic.
Hopefully we get the organisations to come out now and back the support. I think the pressure will mount, because all the guys who are on buses and things will not stand for it, and they'll ask the guys at the top, who, by the way, the whole committee of the affiliation are cracking, hard-working, good people, good friends of mine, hard-working Celtic people who, same with the association boys, or the boys in the Irish Association, or the Trust, the Green Brigade guys. This isn't a job for guys. This is guys' pleasure meant to be. You know what I mean? Guys working at night, making phone calls, taking emails, sorting out tickets, sorting out buses, sorting out things, helping guys with jerseys, helping guys with buses and things, and booking lounges and everything that goes alongside it. You know, it's hard graft, and for the one that sticks in my throat is the affiliation and the association. Obviously, are the two big organisations. For us to be taken in and asked to go in about a meeting, which we didn't know, it was just a random meeting. We didn't know what the content of that meeting was going to be. For them to shove that upon us, they really put us in a terrible position. They should never have done that, but they obviously knew what their tactic was. But to think for a minute that they were going to sit and show us what they showed us, what were they expecting? Were they expecting us to come out the following day and say the Green Brigade's terrible and this has got to stop and this and that and that? Are we really that naive? You know? But the truth's out there. I have no qualms about it. If anybody wants to look me whites in my eyes and question me on it, then here I am, you know. The people that were in that room, I don't know about the association meeting, but we spoke to them since and they seen the same footage and told the same things as us. But I can't quote any quotes from that meeting. I can only quote what I heard myself. But
Yep, no, fair play to you, mate. And you've stood by your guns, so...
Definitely, 100%. 100%.
That's right. Absolutely. You can't say fairer than that. You've said your piece, you know, you've repeated it again, you've added to it. People want to take issue with it, they can call in, they can tweet you, you know. It's so as Jason continually said, this needs sorted, and it needs sorted very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You sound to me like a man, Stevie, that's following his morals, and I can only applaud that, you know.
Put it this way, if he's saying you followed your morals. Is that Belfast drone he has? It doesn't sound right without swearing. See, to be honest with you, mate, and hypothetically speaking, if I was in that situation that you found yourself in, and as you've described it, that happened to me, I would have spoke out as well. I would have went and spoke to the Green Brigade, because I couldn't have digested that and no went anywhere with it. No, I know it's your fellow fans.
Well, that's the thing, but I mean, this meeting was prior to Christmas, and we kind of sat on it for weeks, sat on it over Christmas. Both of us that were there were kind of shell-shocked, to be honest. Couldn't believe what we had heard, what we'd seen, you know, but we then had decisions to make. What do we do here? And in my mind, the one and only decision was to get in touch with the Green Brigade boys and just let them know exactly what was happening here, and just basically say, they've got yous, they're on yous, you know, watch what you're doing. Which was accepted. I never knew any Green Brigade guys. Adam never knew one of them by their name prior to this, so it was totally just off the cuff. Tracked one of them down on Twitter. Started to be a wee fake argument, and then we had a wee bit of bashing on the DM to each other, and kind of realised it was common ground, and we were the same type of guy, and the same thoughts and same feelings, and the most important thing, with the same passion for Celtic and the support. And got speaking to the guys, went and met them on a couple of occasions, built up a good rapport and a good relationship that we've still got, and they told them the position that the club was taking, and I've stuck to my guns ever since. But the affiliation, I think it was late January, I think, had a statement out. The Green Brigade had a statement and Celtic had a statement the same day. Remember, it was a crazy day for statements. They were all early.
There were statements about statements.
Mm-hmm. But it's still, it's like, you know, we were kind of dipping our toes in with it. At the end of the day, I was an individual person on a committee, so it's democracy. You know, you've got to go with whatever. It's not just my personal thoughts. It'd have been easy for me to go and punch a big statement out on the website and say, you know, there's your dinner, read that, you know. But that, so hence the reason why the phone call was made last night after I'm now my own person since I resigned, so I've absolutely no qualms. I'm not doing the affiliation any bad term, the CSA, anybody any bad term. I'm just having free speech and reiterating everything that I've seen in that meeting, which I wouldn't be in a position to do if I was still on a chair in the affiliation. So,
yeah, fair enough. No, and you've made your point well. So fair enough. So it's up to people. I mean, at the end of the day, the silence is deafening, because Celtic need to come and counteract this and state their place.
I'm sure they're what we call them, their circle of trust. I'm sure they'll be rounded upon today at some stage. So we'll see what comes back from it. But I'd love anybody else who was in that room, in the boardroom, watching that to deny anything that I've says. I'd love them to stare me in the eye and say, you're telling lies.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, we put the Green Brigade on here a few weeks ago. We done a wee Green Brigade special. A couple of guys went to the Green Brigade. Aye, they were great. And I mean, they were the first guys to admit they're no angels, you know. And it's sort of a youth culture, and they're a bit rowdy at times. But on the whole, they're absolutely excellent. And the vast majority of the Celtic support would back them to the hilt. And they are just normal Celtic supporters. And the overall thing about the lot is we love Celtic. And they're no different for me or you. They just love Celtic Football Club. But they like bringing a bit of colour, a bit of atmosphere to the stadium.
And that's the clincher. I mean, they love Celtic probably as much as I love Celtic, or you love Celtic, or anybody else that got a season book and pulls a scarf on and goes to support their team. But they love Celtic with so much gusto and passion, flamboyantness, showing it, you know, banners, tifos, everything else that they do. They're the life and soul of Celtic Park. Why on earth would anybody want rid of them? You know?
Yep. It beggars belief. It's beggars belief, to be honest.
Depoliticise the support. And it's clear, but
I don't think that'll ever happen.
No. Never happen. We'll be there long after they guys who's trying to change the rules are long gone, you know. Support will still be there. The hardcore anyway.
Oh, absolutely. And they got a bit of crowds are taking a dip at the minute and stuff like that. And that's just a cycle that we're in at the minute. And money's tight. We look back to, I think, Celtic's average crowd in the 60s when they were winning the European Cup. I don't know, Mr. Stato would know there, but I'm sure it was like 30,000 or whatever.
Aye, that's what they told us. It was probably about 80, really.
Aye, right, I know. That was the old board I was forgetting there. But no, I remember I was at a Dundee game. It was an end of season game. I think it was the year that Dundee United had won the league, or Aberdeen had won the league. It was early to mid 80s, and I'm sure it was a night game, but it was roasting. It was near the end of the season. I think there was only 5,000 there. You know, and when I started going to watch Celtic in the late 70s, early 80s, the crowds were. If you went to like against Dumbarton or something like that, you would only have about 25,000.
Aye,
at the stadium, you know. Aye, so
remember some of the crowds in the early 90s. You know, it was you were doing average and run about 19, 20, 21,000, things like that at games. You got no bad crowd for Hearts, Aberdeen, and then obviously you had 50,000 in for the Huns match. But when you think of the perspective of things, we're still getting no bad attendances. But the last 10, 12 years we've been used to having the stadium full. It's disappointing, but only the board can change that.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a fair point, man. That's a fair point.
What do we think the fans as a whole can do? I mean, are the Green Brigade splitting the fans to a certain point, or whereby we won't be able to get everybody together to support them? I mean, I don't know. I would like to think...
I don't know, but I think we should go down the route of it's the fans. Rather than just saying everybody's here to support the Green Brigade, we should say everybody stand together as Celtic fans and say, we're not putting up with this.
Yep.
You know? We're not putting up with this. Rather than turn around and say, we're all standing together with the Green Brigade. I'm sure the Green Brigade know that the fans are galvanised with them now, hopefully. But let's do it as a unit, as the whole stadium, the whole support, making a stance on this.
Yeah.
You know? It doesn't matter what organisation you're from. What happened on Saturday is disgusting. And somebody needs to be taken to task on it, and our support need to stick together on it.
Yeah, I mean,
totally agree.
It's Celtic fans now, but it could be anybody as well.
Exactly. You know, there's photographs again. It was like kind of a young girl standing, screaming and crying, wasn't there? There's another photograph as well, an older gent trying to run out the road. Do they look like ultras? You know, do they look like Green Brigade members? No, they were Celtic supporters like you or me. You know.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. No, I agree 100%.
Yeah. And Paul, anybody else want to come in there now?
I know. I think the operative word through all that was numb. It does make you feel a bit numb that, we are at a point at this where it's, we're all kind of tearing each other apart because, with information going round and this, that, and next thing. And as Stevie continually said, we're all Celtic supporters, It doesn't matter whether in the CSA, the Green Brigade, the affiliation, whoever. At the end of the day, first and foremost, we're Celtic supporters who wants to see that team put the ball in the line more than the opposition. And, we are a people who, are used to oppression and we're used to being shafted and at that end of the scale. And that, I would say, if we say it for a year, and somebody actually said to me, I said at a book launch about a year ago, I said that this won't end with the Green Brigade, it'll be us that'll be next if they manage to get rid of them. And a woman said to me at the end of that, "You're talking like shite, that's all a paranoid nonsense." And she actually tweeted me 2 weeks ago and said, "I actually think you're right now." And I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, I just think that what's happening now is the information and the people like Stevie who are kind of breaking ranks and saying, "No, this is the actual reality," is getting out there to people. And I know people still don't believe it, and I know people still think that Celtic is all sweetness and light and all the rest of it, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. They're entitled to their opinion. I don't like to hear anybody saying anything bad about Celtic, but I'm certainly going to, shut my mind and close my ears and say, well, no, I'm not going to listen to this, because we all as Celtic supporters need to be aware so that we can stand together, because as we know, right across the board, right through history, the Celtic Support United is an incredible force. And I always feel that there's an element of this within society that wants to fracture us at every opportunity. Yeah. And now is a time where we all have to just stick together and say, we're not just the Green Brigade, we are the Celtic family, and that's who we represent.
We've proved in the past with '94 that we can do it. This is obviously on a smaller scale, but it's just as important, if you ask me, the welfare of your support. So it can be done. We'll just see if everybody steps up to the plate or not. But there needs to be something organised, whether it's a counter demo or whether it's some type of display. Personally, I would have something within the stadium. So everybody, PLC, everybody in the board, everybody who thinks this isn't getting taken serious is staring round the park watching it and saying to themselves, these guys are serious here. But I think it was one, I think it was yourself, big man, that mentioned last night, maybe the possibility of either walking out at half time or staying out for the first half and getting in at half time.
No, what I said last night is stay out for the first 45 minutes, because I think I know you were saying, Stevie, about basically doing something inside the stadium, but we're there. And I think we need to show the way that Celtic fans are being treated is a stand outside. And I know people might come around and say, then you're going to punish the players and things like that. But we want to try and get a message across to the board. And if somebody can say, we will stand outside, because the way this is are being treated, it will show, hey, Jason, going back to me, you might only have 5,000, 10,000 in the stadium. Then at half time, go in. Then what's the polls going to do when you've got a group of numbers? And I've spoken to Paul about this before. If we don't stand up just now, where will it stop? Because it will just keep going and just keep going. One of the things I was going to ask you is, and I wouldn't like to think so, do you think Celtic had any knowledge about what was going to happen on Saturday?
I have no idea at all on that. No.
I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't have thought so. I'd imagine this was just surely the police have obviously seen what's been happening online and things, and they sort of did their premeditated attack, which it was.
Yep. And I think we need to get Tam Donnelly to organise the next match. Aye. So whatever's planned next, because I to be honest with you, I know the 13 people got arrested and the scenes were absolutely shameful, but I think it'll have done the Green Brigade a favour the way the police have acted, because Joe, you mentioned it at the start, it was against police brutality, and what did the police do? They acted the most brutal fashion.
I mean, the irony of it,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
it's the banning order thing, Let's see if you looked upon it. Say it was through PLC eyes here. The police have took away 13 customers from Celtic, right? Yep. 13 guys who have paid their dues, 13 guys who have got a season book. They were having a peaceful march or a peaceful protest 2 miles from the ground. Why are you banned for Celtic Park?
Yeah,
absolutely stinking. The Celtic should be coming straight out and going, no way are you banning any of your supporters or your members for something that's unrelated to the stadium.
Yep.
They're not doing it. But take them to task. Everybody, we keep hearing they've not had any complaints and nobody's getting in touch with them, and we're open and we'll fight for our fans and all this garbage. Absolute gutter tripe garbage.
All they need to do is log on to any one of your many Celtic websites out on the web. They just need to turn this show on, listen to this. There's many ways they can find out how the fans are feeling without fans actually writing them an email. But
Exactly.
if that's what it's going to take, if everybody needs to send them an email, then some people need to draw up a couple of templates, get them issued out there, and just get people to add their name to them, and send them 10,000 emails, and see what they do then.
Will they take us serious? Did they take us serious to now? Are we just cash cows, you know?
That's debatable.
Yeah. We've been joined by...
the balls in our court, season ticket renewals will be dropping through doors soon. So the ball's in the supports court, you know? I take Andy to turn around and say, you shove it up your arse, your season book or whatever it is. That's no the way we want guys in there supporting Celtic, but we can use it as a tool.
Yeah. I would talk about all that stuff, but I'm on auto renewal, so I've not got much choice.
We've been joined.
I've got two wee boys who I would need to explain to that they're not going to see Celtic, and then try and explain to them why they're not going to see Celtic. You know, that'll be replicated throughout the support. So
I know. Your dad's got principles as they're going to wash too well with them.
Could be next week your dad's banned.
I suppose so. Your dad's in jail.
Celtic, unbeknownst to us, Celtic have cells underneath one of the stands. We've been joined by Peter Cowan.
So I've got dogs in there as well.
Peter, are you at a halting site fighting dogs?
Dogs have just seen a cat outside, so they're going daft. But I would like to split the debate up at the present time into two aspects, if that's all right. So I'll deal with the first aspect about Saturday specific. And the problem I've got with Saturday, the permit or the licence, to me that's a red herring. The police had a clear choice how they were going to police it, and they choose how to police it. Mm-hmm. They choose to kettle a set of fans, if it was 75 or 100, whatever it was, they decided to kettle. They could have, with the numbers of the police there, they could have facilitated a peaceful, joyful match up to they didn't. So that's one issue. The second issue is, I knew, and I lived 200 and odd miles away from Celtic Park, I knew that match was taking place about a week ago. Mm-hmm. Now, the police would have known, because they monitor all the websites.
Oh, aye.
The club would have known, because they monitor all the websites. Mm-hmm. So, for the police to come out with a statement they did on Saturday saying they received a phone call, you know, that's a bit of a joke. And I think a lot in the media realise that as well. But
I wish I could phone them and they would come that quick.
Yeah. And
200 of them.
Aye. 15 right ones.
I would imagine there would be discussions prior to that. Now, obviously, I would know if people involved in that discussions, but there would be pre-match planning with the police and the club regarding the policing at the match, and I would assume, and I'm honest saying that I would assume that would have included the match or the demo or whatever you want to call it up to Celtic Park.
Well,
that's one side of it. If you take the full gambit of what happened on Saturday and the other issues, it all comes down to one thing. It's lack of communication, and as I've been tweeting today, the club and the police do it reactively with communication afterwards rather than proactive beforehand. Now, if you go back through my timeline, and some of you know what my Twitter account is, I was engaged in a bit of lunchtime today with West Midlands football account. Absolutely fantastic engagement with fans. They actually put up a blog up about 3 or 4 weeks ago telling I think it was Shrewsbury fans why a certain game was policed a certain way, and it was heavily policed. It wasn't, and they gave the reasons why. Now, I don't hear that much about Strathclyde Police going, well, we're meeting fan groups prior to a match. It's always after a match, after an event. Now, I know for a fact, Liverpool, Sturty Shankly Fans Union meet regularly with the local police and say if they're playing Man U, which is a high-profile game, they'll have the Man U equivalent in the same room at the same time. Now, go back to the fella who's in affiliation, whatever. Why did the club have 2 meetings with 2 separate organisations to get you the same information? You know,
why did there 2 meetings?
No, I'm just saying as an innocent bystander, I would have had everybody in the same meeting.
We couldn't make the first meeting due to work commitments.
Yeah, well, I'm not having a go at you in that, but I wasn't sure if it was a club policy, it was 2 different meetings, or it was for another fact, and as you said, it was for work commitments and stuff. That's fair, but that's just my general feeling about events.
No, the affiliation and the association go in as 2 separate bodies.
They don't go in?
No, they go in as 2 separate bodies. There's always separate meetings.
Well, that's ridiculous.
The only joint meeting that I've been in was the focus meeting, which was an open fans meeting with Celtic security.
That's again, the club. I'm not saying it's happening, but it's definitely open to the allegation of how 2 separate messages getting told. It should be one body. If one body's not possible for whatever reason, and I think that's another debate which a Melbourne boy highlighted tonight on Twitter. It should be everybody in the same room at the same time. Absolutely joke they're having meetings with X one night and somebody else another night and stuff like that. Get everybody in together.
That was obviously their initial plan because we couldn't make the first meeting.
Yeah, no, but if it's generally different meetings for different organisations.
Oh, it is, but there's different organisations who obviously got different issues and different agendas that they want to address, so we go in separate. Did go in separate, sorry, past tense.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying the logical way to do it would be either come in as one, as a umbrella organisation, or you have one meeting with everybody and it's your agenda points and it's your agenda points. Well, your agenda point 4 is similar to your agenda point 5. We'll merge the 2 points and take it from there. That's on my personal opinion.
Stevie, am I right in thinking, surmising what's saying here, that the Fans Against Criminalisation was designed just for that? So that everybody could be under one umbrella and be at the same meeting?
It was an umbrella group to support the 2 main organisations, the Affiliation Association, Irish Association, Green Brigade, Celtic Trust, all together against the bill. Unfortunately, that's not transpired at the minute. It's kind of broke up into a bit of a mess, to be honest. But sure, that could be galvanised.
Here's another point which I tweeted today. It's like under UEFA licence, Celtic have to have a named supporters liaison officer. Try and find that on the website somewhere.
There's no one.
Oh, they'll be named somewhere, and loads within the club will know it. And then go and look at what their roles and responsibilities should be. Any member, any fan can contact them. It doesn't have to go through the affiliation. It doesn't have to go through any. There should be a phone number and a contact to say, phone me.
But what they have done, the backdrop of the focus meeting was Celtic created a complaints panel, which they wanted one person from the affiliation, one person from the association to represent both bodies in line with the club. So complaints went through these 2 individuals, which then went into Ronnie Hawthorne, which then would have been processed and dealt with. I don't even know if that's up and running yet. They were trying to push it through 2 weeks ago, and I don't think both organisations have agreed to it on different basis. I think one had and one hadn't, but that's their business.
If the listeners want to Google football supporters liaison officer, and I think it's in the first can you click on Google, it will be a UEFA PDF But I would also highlight, I think there's a spirit of Shankly response to Liverpool's response, and I would also suggest that there's some good practice happening at Liverpool FC at the moment regarding fan engagement, fan. But want a better term, I forget the official title of it, but it's a proper fans committee where they meet. I think it's once a quarter, and a lot of official things go through them, and the club doesn't really jump until they get. But no, that's my understanding. Speaking to some people I know who are involved in and around that thing, but that's beside the point. But I know the phones are busy, so I'll let you carry on the show.
I don't think for a minute our current board would want a fan anywhere near any decision-making process within the stadium. Never in a million years.
I'll DM you the relevant link, and I'll let you know. Right. But as I said, I know the show's busy and you're going to look at calls and stuff like that. I just thought I would phone in with it from my point of view.
That's great.
All right, lads. Hell, lads.
Hell, mate.
Dead on, Peter. Thanks very much, mate.
Plenty of calls tonight.
Exactly. Never rains, but it pours.
Your wee Skype will be doing some power tonight.
I'm just delayed that my internet's managed to survive. Normally, it's just me, you, and Paul, and the whole thing falls apart. You know what I mean? Tonight, she's putting in a good shift. Fair play to you, love.
Commandante Harper, he usually sorts things out.
He thinks he sorts things out.
What's his excuse for the night anyway?
He's got scurvy or something, I don't know.
Right. He's on a covert mission. He's going to take the whole club down when he plays at Celtic Park in May.
Have you seen his beard?
Aye.
I was asking him, where was that commitment during Movember? You know what I mean?
Well, he's a ginger, Joe, so he's petrified of getting arrested the next time he comes.
He'll get lifted coming off the plane.
Yeah, he does. He gets searched coming off the plane. He just looks like a terrorist.
That beard will never help, Marks.
No.
You're like Dominic McGlinchey for the 80s.
Mad dog.
So, Stevie, I mean, where do you think we're going from here? We're going to have to wrap this up in a few minutes, but I mean, where do we think we're going from here? I mean, obviously, you've done thing. I mean, I know you're saying you're in a position now whereby you don't have to worry about it because you're no longer associated and you resigned your post, but still, I think it's a pretty brave move to come out and just let the fans know of what you know. You know what I mean? And people will make their own minds up, and there'll be all kinds of different rumours flying around now. It's probably going on already. But I mean, where do you think? I mean, where are we going to end up? I think this is going to escalate before the season's out. I think we're going to get to a point that nobody can deny unless Celtic put some sort of effort in. You know what I mean? Yourself, Stevie. Hello.
You there?
Hello. Sorry, I lost you there, boys.
Sorry, I said it there nice and dramatically, and it all fell apart. See. What do you think
again, Joe?
I was just saying there, Stevie. I think this is going to escalate before the season's out, and I think, I think, but I hope we don't get to a point where it's going to be a serious issue and somebody's going to get hurt. Because I think that's where we're going to go. I think that's where the cops want it to go. Clearly.
Yeah.
I mean,
clear. That was clear.
You don't wield batons unless unless there's violence involved. That's what I mean.
I mean, there's two guys sitting next to me. Around the town getting a pint, and they had came along. I think they came along Ingram Street, and then were cutting down High Street. And as they turned the corner at High Street, there was this convoy of riot vans going past them, and they were saying, "Oh, there's something going down the day," Didn't think for a minute that it was heading, and it wasn't until they got down, I think, to the Tron Gate and turned the corner and realised that they were circling the wagons on the Green Brigade boys, but it's just incredible. Think what that cost them Saturday. Resources and manpower to police that. Where at the other side of the city there was a mob of fascists and Nazis having some other protests, wasn't there?
Mm-hmm.
And I was in Springburn with my mate in the morning. My mate had phoned me that morning saying he's stuck at traffic lights in Postle Park. a fucking orange march going along the street, you know. Open air sectarianism, you know. Welcome to Glasgow in 2013. Stand in line and take that Irish look off your face.
Nail on the head, mate.
Absolutely. We have one last caller, Dara. Dara, you coming in there, mate? Dara?
Hello?
You there, mate? Hello, can you hear me?
Dara, you there?
Speak.
Dara's gone. He battled it, so he did the last minute.
No, he did speak, didn't he?
Oh, wasn't quick enough. He's axed.
Maybe just wanted to say hello.
Just having a lonely Monday night. We're going to have to wrap this up. I mean, this has been...
Give a guy a call back.
What are you, Mother Teresa?
Poor Dara.
He's a good guy, Dara.
I know.
We're looking for an Irish replacement for the show.
Hello.
Dara, you there, mate?
Yeah, alright guys, how you doing?
Not too bad. What's crack, mate?
I appreciate having the time to get me on here, but to be honest, I'm so livid watching and hearing what's happened. I wasn't at the game myself, because I was over in Ireland, but the harassment is just getting beyond a fucking joke right now. But the thing is though, we've got the technology to defend ourselves. We've got the smartphones. We've got the voice recorders. What you need to do is get everyone with the smartphone recording the police with all the harassment and antagonisment. And when they're saying stuff to try and get reaction and post on the internet and get it out there, they haven't got a leg to stand on.
Well,
I agree, mate.
This is the cul-de-sac we find ourselves in, though. Dara, isn't that? I mean, no matter how many videos or photographs we see, or, I mean, like, you know, reputable stories that we do here, it doesn't seem to change anything. It just seems to get worse, right? So it makes me think, like, we're living in this sort of weird Orwellian state whereby, you know, don't say anything against the forces that be because, you know, they'll just come down hard on you. And I think the Saturday was a great example. Well, not a great example, not great in the great sense, but I mean, a real eye-opener for anybody who thinks that the Green Brigade are just kind of be, you know, complaining or letting off steam. I mean, like, look at that. I mean, look, I show my wife. My wife,
15-year-old, they got huckled.
My wife doesn't even know.
He did nothing at all, and they got a mixed up identity with somebody else. Maybe because he had ginger hair that he went for him. You know.
We should all wear ginger wigs the next home game and just confuse everybody.
Well, actually, you stole my thunder because Kat, who comes to the game with me, she said you should all have ginger wigs. and I'd have a ginger wig too, right? You know, but the thing is though, that video showed so clearly that the police were bang out of order and they hated the PR nightmare for them. But we need to get everybody who's going to turn up to these events is to have a recording of it. Now, the thing is, if you've got a camera out, the police will keep the gob shut. But if you've got it in your jacket just using the voice recorder, they won't know you're recording the conversation. And they'll say stuff that once you get that clip and you put it on the internet, it'll make them show out who they really are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
I showed that video to my wife, right? My wife doesn't really care for football. I mean, she'll go along with me just to keep me happy, right? But I showed her the video. I was just sitting playing it and watching it, and she goes, "What's this?" And I said, "Just watch this." I said, "This is watch what it is." Didn't explain what it was. Nothing. Didn't even mention any Celtic affiliation. And in the video, you couldn't see any real sort of hoops or any of that sort of stuff. You could see a couple of scarves, but you might not have noticed. It just looked like cops trying to tear apart a 15-year-old boy, and she just stood there and was just like, "What is this? What are you watching?" I said, "This is a peaceful protest in Glasgow." Right?
Aye. And the thing is, they say because it's too many walking to the game, oh, you'll be walking on the road, you can't do that. I mean, every fucking game, be it rugby or any around the country, you all walk in the street after the game. You go and arrest all of them as well. It's total bullshit. And it really boils my piss what these feckers are doing. And to the support, you go all of Europe. I was in Turin. Now, I was a bit wary because of how they got treated the last time. And I was thinking, like, the police are a bit dodgy, and they weren't. They were fucking great. Drinking till 5 in the morning, drinking right up to the game, giving us the lift back into the town. Not a bit of hassle at all. The press loving us, getting clapped by the UV fans at the end of it, where normally they don't particularly like away fans at all. But yet you come to Scotland and you get harassed and bullied, and the media making out to be a full bunch of arseholes, which we're obviously not. And it's just, it just really, really boils my piss.
That's the way we feel as well, mate. Something needs done.
Aye, and plus the fact that I'm a season ticket holder and I'm quite happy. Well, send us an email because I can't get to go to all the games. Is any guys in Green Brigade get a ban? Is they can use my ticket to back into the game, but obviously give it straight away to somebody else in case they get pulled. They don't know it's my ticket. You know what I mean?
And the views shared by some of the callers here are not the official stance of HomeBhoys. We'll just get that in case Law's chat with our door.
That's what I'm saying. I don't live in the northeast. Live in Ireland, and my name's Francis.
I'll just meet you in that chippy again, Dara, and we'll do a wee handover.
Most definitely. Or I send an email and I post it up to you by airmail from Alaska, and you'll get it. You know what I mean? And it's section 145-27869. I think I see row XXY. So there you go.
The seat's not broken either.
Actually, it is.
For Christ's sake.
Everyone
got full seat in this green now.
But then I don't sit in it much, so there you go. But seriously, I'd be happy to. Now, too right, people are getting banned who are doing nothing wrong, and it's getting chucked out of court, and they're still losing out. Now, the thing is, if we can get a lawyer to say these people are getting bans for apparently doing something, and it turns out that they haven't, could not claim compensation back from the police for a wrongful arrest, and they've paid for something. Now they've lost it because the police were incompetent in what they did. Now if police was to raid a house and break down a door and there's nothing in the house, you can claim full compensation back for that, can't you? So why can't you claim back what you paid for the season ticket if they ban you from going to a game and you've done nothing wrong?
Yeah, and I believe that's it for the brigade guys as well. They've paid fortunes for season tickets and they've been taken off them. It's a sad state of affairs.
Yeah, something needs done. Something needs to happen, and for me, Celtic need to contact the party that's most affected by this, and that's the Green Brigade, and get them round the table and start speaking.
But in the chat room tonight and on Twitter, everybody's been making the same point that this isn't solely a Green Brigade issue. This is a Celtic supporters issue.
Yep,
exactly.
I mean, Kat sat in my seat. She got searched 5 times going into the ground. And this is the last from the northeast, getting searched 5 times. And she's like, and she goes to Newcastle games, Sunderland games, not a bit of bother. But because she was in section 111, 5 times she got searched. It's just wrong on so many levels.
Yep, total agreement.
But hey, text me your number and we'll have a proper chat and we'll get stuff sorted out, because seriously, we need to fight the power.
It's come to that, and we need
to be smart about it and not be aggressive. That's the thing. We need to, keep it cool, because they are going to try and wind up the wee kids who maybe lose their rag a wee bit. It pisses me off, but I know how to keep my gob shut when need be.
But it's telling that the Green Brigade's statement, but I mean, when they mentioned about how do you pronounce it, Jason? Is it Corteo? Is it?
Corteo, I don't know. Doesn't really matter anyway. It was a walk, a march. It was an Italian word for a march or something.
Their point was that the police may try to provoke. Don't play into their hands was the message, right? So obviously they preempted the fact that there would be a response. I mean, obviously they knew, and part of me maybe even thinks they wanted to see for themselves what would happen.
The Kettling was obviously a direct order for their superiors, and they obviously know why they do it. As Paul said earlier on, it's to provoke a reaction.
You know what they should have done? They should have turned all the backs instead of doing the huddle with Starstrike Police. What can you do then? We're all doing the huddle and that. Fuck you. Your backs are turned to them. You can't touch us. We'll still party.
No, I mean, look, anybody, I mean, I'll not name any names, but there's people that you're listening at, we've been on marches in the past, and, they were attacked and were spat at and had bottles thrown at, and you were never ever told to react to that, because the victory was always the march. It was the marching. And that's exactly what how the Green Brigade reacted was we're not going to give you the satisfaction of reacting to this kind of stuff. And it feels, as Joe says, like this is going to come to a head. But dialogue has to start, as Jason said, and hopefully we can get back to one big Celtic family with everybody pulling in the same direction. The harassment has to stop. The harassment in people's houses and jobs and all that. And I don't blame Green Brigade members for wanting to keep the identities and that, because I tell you, the pressure they must be under is absolutely incredible. But so fair play to them for not reacting, but really this really has to be sorted now.
Yeah, we'll get the guys back on. Two boys that came on a couple of weeks ago. We'll get them back on in a couple of weeks to give us a wee update of what's happening. Because obviously, maybe it wasn't the right time to get the boys on the night after everything that just happened. They're probably digesting what their next move is or whatever, because it's a group. But in a couple of weeks, we'll get the boys back on again and we'll get a wee update. Hopefully by that time, Celtic have put the olive branch out and they're talking like adults and getting this crap sorted.
Yeah.
Aye, for sure.
Everybody wants to see a positive outcome.
Yeah.
That's what's the most frustrating thing. You know what I mean? Everybody wants a positive outcome. We all want to get back to supporting Celtic. I don't want to be doing this. You don't want to be doing this, sitting there having these arguments and, having to discuss all this and sit on Twitter. Nobody wants that. We all want a positive outcome. We want to let the Green Brigade go back to making us all feel great when we're in the stadium and making us proud. And we want, because that's all we do for each other. That's the thing I've always mentioned to people in the past. Celtic supporters are well policed. They take care of themselves, you know. And
definitely,
it feels now that somebody's decided that that's not the case, and they want to stick their oar in. And I don't know who it is, but whoever's doing it needs to have their hand bitten off.
Probably because it's no duty free, so there you
go. So we've got about 20 minutes over time now.
Yeah,
so time for us to shut it down. This has been it's been a fairly spectacular show, I have to say. A lot of callers. I've been on Twitter most of the night, so I've probably missed good chunks of this show. I've been trying to respond to people, but it's been fantastic. I want to thank everybody for calling in. Hit us up on Twitter at HomeBhoys. Email us, homeboys@gmail.com. Even if you just want to call us idiots. Or if you want to praise us as well, that's okay. But feel free to praise me. Or Jason. It's all about Jason most of the time.
Yeah, he takes all the stick.
I can handle it.
So, what else? Head to Facebook, hailhailmedia.com. All that lovely stuff. I want to thank everybody for coming on. I want to thank Stevie, who I think we've lost on the line there. Stevie for coming on and speaking to us. I want to thank everybody that's called in. Tam for giving us his a show-stopping opening there. And lads, anything you want to say before we
just a wee thing for the boys down under, Joe. The Half the World Away show and the Rebel podcast. I think they're going to do a wee joint show on Friday. They're trying to get that together from the famous balcony. So look out for that on Friday. The guys at Half the World 88 is their Twitter, and they're trying to get off the ground. So give them all the support you can.
And by the way, Paul, new book.
Yeah, it'll be out 2 weeks today, and it's called The Last Pearl Diver. And there's no mention of Peter Lawwell in it at all, thank God. But we're building up to that. The book launch on the Saturday. All the Green Brigade are welcome. There's nobody banned for that apart from yourself, Joe. And but I'll be doing my usual plug-in and trying desperately people to like me. So
didn't you have sample chapters up before?
Yes, there has been. But the book is just a tiny wee plug. It's set in 93-94. It's about the kind of monster time that we were going through at that time and how we kind of had wee small victories in amidst all the crap that we were facing. And so a lot of that's probably relevant right now. And as I say, it'll be out April the 1st. Your birthday, as I said, Joe. And 6th of April for the book launch, which is pretty much packed out. But if you want to come along, I'm sure we'll squeeze you in. Unfortunately, Jason's not going to be there, so that's half the crowd immediately. But
I'll make a late appearance, mate, later on.
Jason will come in like Jesus Christ walking on water. I can guarantee that. That'll be our Cam Donnelly that night. So, but anybody follows on Twitter, they know the score. It's out on April 1st. Book launch on April 6th. Everybody's welcome, and hopefully we'll have 1 or 2 sherbets that night.
Super. Super.
And as I say, if Peter Law, Ronnie Hawthorne, or any Glasgow Polish want to call us in, HomeBhoys, next Monday night, give us a shout and put your case forward.
And I have this feeling that I'm going to be sitting around the boardroom tomorrow listening to this podcast. So hello. They're probably looking at each other and I going, bastard.
Try to identify who Francis is.
Right. He's the one in Alaska. Please.
Right. Everybody will say goodbye. Paul, you want to say goodbye to the folks?
Goodbye and see you next week.
Jason?
Okay. Hail, hail.
Dara?
Hail, hail, and God bless you all.
No problems, folks. That's the Homeboys for tonight. Day after Paddy's Day. Have a good St. Patrick's Day. Well, have a good St. Patrick's Day. Was this today? Fucking, that's how tired I am. So take it easy. Hope to see you all again. See you next week. Thank you very much for listening. And it's no better song to go out with than Over and Over, because we will follow Celtic, but we will not be shit upon.
The world's number one Celtic band. I see it from Charlie and the Boys.
Celtic supporters, faithful through and through. So over and over, we'll follow you. If you go to Germany, you will see us there. France or Spain, it's all the same. We'll go anywhere. We'll be right there with you as you travel round. You can take us anywhere. We won't let you down. Over and over, we will follow you. Everybody, over and over, we will see through, because we are Celtic supporters, faithful through and through. So over and over, we will follow you. If you go to Lisbon, we'll go once again. In summer, you'll find us there, calling out your name. If you need supporting, you will always know that we'll be right there with